Chapter 63. Even so, Lure, you still have to be careful, don't cause any negative impact on our Sun and Moon group. Jiang Zhenhua nodded. Although our Sun and Moon group is powerful, we can't compete with the human government. Do you know what to do now? I know, I will ask my subordinates to compensate him for the damage to his door and walls. Jiang Lu smiled coldly. However, Jiang Zhendong's son is quite powerful. He can actually dodge my full-strength punch. I have checked, his vitality is at 1. He is the focus of the school's training. He is likely to be admitted to Starry Sky University. Oh? It's not good if he is admitted to Starry Sky University. We still have to let Jiang Zhendong return to the family and continue to study the essence of the sun and moon. Jiang Zhenhua slightly frowned. But finding his whereabouts is also a great contribution. Father, why is it so troublesome? We can just take Jiang Zhendong back to the family. Jiang Lu said, as long as you say the word, I will do it immediately. If I could do that, I would have done it long ago. Jiang Zhenhua waved his hand. I have investigated his son's information, take a look. ZZZ. The big screen of the optical computer flashed. 2 words appeared above. Jiang Tao. Below it was a series of XXX. Behind XXX was the word, top secret. What? Jiang Lu's eyes suddenly sharpened. Top secret? We can't find any information about him. How could this be? There is only one possibility. He has joined the military's secret agency. Jiang Zhenhua thoughtfully said. His son is not simple, so these days I have been thinking about how to deal with Jiang Zhendong, but there are all kinds of methods. If we forcibly take him away, if we provoke the military, we won't be afraid, but if the impact is too big, I'm afraid we will be attacked by the public. You know, our Sun and Moon group came to the Earth to open up the market, and we are already hated by many big bosses. If we use this matter to make a fuss, even I will be punished by the board of directors. Father, this is it. The corner of Jiang Lu's mouth curled up, revealing a playful smile. Anyway, I'm also 17 years old, so I'll go to Tsinghua High School to study, and by the way, I'll be admitted to Starry Sky University. In the last semester, I'll find out the ins and outs of these 2 brothers, and at the same time, I'll kill them. Then, I'll capture Jiang Zhendong and let him continue to study the essence of the sun and moon. This damn human law, although we don't care about it, sometimes we're bound to do things. That's good too. You can cultivate better if you're admitted to Starry Sky University. The competition for resources in the family is fierce. Jiang Zhenhua nodded. My intention is to let you pass the exam and establish your own business. After all, although you are a direct descendant, you don't have any family shares. Father, I will let everyone know that I, Jiang Lu, am the strongest. Jiang Lu raised his head, his eyes sharp like an eagle soaring in the 9th heaven. I'll ask my subordinates to go to Tsinghua High School to handle the transfer procedures and directly enter the top class. Jiang Zhenhua tapped his fingers on the table. Deep in the park, Jiang Li swallowed the essence of the moon spirit in one gulp and began to cultivate the great emperor's lightning seal. His body leaped and galloped, every gesture was mighty, majestic, and had the strength to move mountains and rivers. His aura was unparalleled. When he opened his 5 fingers, air currents were generated, lightning struck out, and thunder rumbled from the depths of his bones. In his mind, he meditated on the brain of the universe, flickering non-stop. Suddenly, the brain of the universe evolved into a violent thunder and lightning, covering the entire universe. Billions of lightning bolts flashed non-stop in his mind. Each lightning bolt had a different shape, some were like dragons, some were like snakes, and some were like some kind of symbol. It revealed the mysteries of the collision of yin and yang in the universe. Jiang Li's hand speed increased, and suddenly, he fiercely struck a large rock in the park. This rock was made of granite, and it was as tall as a person. However, after being struck by Jiang Li, the rocks on it flew everywhere, and deep cracks appeared. Under this strike, it was no longer a power that could be exerted by flesh and blood. Following that, he continued to strike, and every palm strike left a deep mark on the rock. In the process of cultivating the great Emperor's lightning seal, he had a subtle feeling. As he meditated on all kinds of lightning, his body was undergoing some kind of change, making his body more vigorous. At night, a bright moon hung high in the sky. After Jiangli had taken the essence of the moon spirit, he raised his head to look at the bright moon, and there seemed to be a mental connection. He and the bright moon had a subtle telepathic connection. This was an illusory feeling, very hazy and very beautiful. It nourished his soul, and he felt the vastness of the universe. His spiritual cultivation was growing bit by bit, and his physical strength was also rising. Although the great Emperor's lightning seal was just a gesture, when combined with meditation, it was unpredictable. The heart and body were one, and the spirit and flesh were one. When the seal was struck out, thunder rolled, and demons were slain with a single thought. I've been in the third stage of deep sleep for a long time. The essence of the sun and moon also has the effect of strengthening my brain cells and supporting my spiritual cultivation. I wonder when I can enter meditation? For 10 consecutive days, everything was peaceful. Jiang Lu seemed to have disappeared, and he didn't come looking for trouble. Jiang Li used the essence of the moon spirit to train bitterly, researching the mysteries of the great Emperor's lightning seal. With enough resources, his progress was rapid. Moreover, the meditation and exercise of the great Emperor's lightning seal consumed a lot of nutrient. Jiang Li almost used 2 bottles of essence of the moon spirit every day. However, he didn't see Dahe the cat in the park, and he didn't know what it was doing. He used the chip to contact it, but it didn't reply. Jiang Li was a little worried, but he was deeply immersed in the lightning technique, and his mind was completely out of it. He crazily cultivated the great Emperor's lightning seal, and searched the internet for the mysteries of various lightning techniques. 10 days of training also made his hypnosis skills improve by leaps and bounds. In the security company, he was facing a client, a middle-aged man with a firm gaze and iron will. He was clearly a soldier. This kind of person was the hardest to hypnotize, and many beginner hypnotists failed to hypnotize him. But when Jiang Li opened his mouth, rumble! The entire room was filled with the rumbling of thunder, causing the crystal glass windows to shake violently. The soldier immediately fainted, and his face turned red, as if his body's potential had been stimulated. Jiang Li went up and caressed the soldier's head. The soldier peacefully fell into a deep sleep. Beep, beep, beep. The sleep testing machine began its test. Deep sleep, 150 points. Next. Jiang Li sat still and continued to hypnotize. Another client came in. He opened his eyes and his body trembled. Crackling sounds of thunder came from his joints. The client didn't even have time to react before he collapsed. Next one. One hypnosis followed after another, and every client's sleep quality reached 150 points after being hypnotized. And Jiang Li hypnotized a total of 40 before stopping. 10 days ago, he could at most hypnotize 25 people a day. Now, he had actually increased it to 40. This couldn't be described as a sudden improvement, but as a monstrous one. His Spirit Emperor seal had 9 transformations, and the Thunder Seal's transformation was the fiercest and fiercest. Especially that sound, meditation could increase his thinking to the limit. At this moment, the Spirit Emperor seal revealed the power of a peerless martial art. Just one Thunder Seal was already so powerful, then how powerful would a complete Spirit Emperor seal be? Jiang Li didn't dare to imagine. In the huge office, Chu Cece was watching a video, and it clearly showed Jiang Li's hypnosis. Gao Ren respectfully stood at the side, his face was filled with shock. Chief Chu, this Jiang Li is a monster. He actually hypnotized 40 people a day? And his hypnosis technique seems to be thunder technique? This is a forbidden technique, very difficult to cultivate, and the probability of becoming an idiot is very high. I will send the video of his hypnosis to my father. Chu Cece moved and sent the email out. About half an hour later, Chu Shan's figure appeared on the screen. This is the current Jiangli? His cultivation is so fast? His thunder technique actually reached small success. I have never seen anyone train in thunder techniques so fast. Yes, father, Jiang Li's improvement is too fast. I believe that he will soon become a true intermediate hypnotist. Chu Cece analyzed. Training in thunder techniques is simply seeking instant benefits. The death rate is 90%. Chu Shan shook his head. How about this? Call him over, I will guide him step by step. The youngsters nowadays are truly fearless. Although they have seen through life and death, it does not mean that they are seeking death. Hypnotizing 40 people, earning 25600. Jiang Li rested for a while, and consumed a bottle of moon spirit essence. Seeing the additional numbers in his account, he was secretly happy, but when he thought of Sun and Moon Group, Jiang Lu, his heart immediately sank. His achievements were not worth mentioning to Sun and Moon Group. Jiang Lu's casual punch that day had a life force that far exceeded his. If not for the police arriving in time, he might have been beaten to death. He still had 7 bottles of moon spirit essence left, and the consumption was too great, it would be used up in a few days. Luckily, he had accumulated about 200,000 in these 10 days. But how was he going to purchase the moon spirit essence? He could not possibly purchase it from Sun and Moon Group in the black market. It was simply sending a sheep into the tiger's mouth. In Xinghua City, there were laws, and Jiang Lu did not dare to kill him openly, but in the black market, he could kill him as he wished without any repercussions. Ding dong, a mail was sent. It was from Sister Dao Chu Cece. It was still a few simple words. Jiang Li, come to my office. Jiang Li immediately got up and went to the office, and saw Chu Shan's tall figure on the screen. Jiang Li, you're training in thunder techniques? Chu Shan asked directly. Yes. Jiang Li nodded. Recently, I've been researching the profoundness of thunder techniques. Do you know that you can't simply train in thunder techniques? The death rate is very high. Chu Shan reprimanded. You are one of the potential stocks of our security group, all right? Stop training in thunder techniques, practice the lightning needle body tempering technique first, wait until your nerves and body can withstand the stimulation, then you can train in thunder technique. Lightning needle body tempering technique? Jiang Li was stunned. Youngsters nowadays are really... Chu Shan shook his head, and suddenly, a naked man appeared on the screen. His body was covered with silver needles, and those silver needles were special, carrying electric current. This set of electric current stimulation technique was passed down from the elite area. Chu Shan's tone was solemn. Star Sky University has this training method. It is classified as a secret technique, developed by human body experts, neuroscientists, martial arts grandmasters, and spiritual masters. They used a method called lightning needle body tempering technique from the ancient martial arts world as a reference. The body is covered with silver needles, and after electrifying, the nerves and body will be stimulated by the electric current, forcing out the potential, tempering the body, and at the same time, familiarizing your nerves with the characteristics of the electric current, preparing to train in thunder technique. However, this lightning needle body tempering technique is very painful. Once electrified, a few milliamperes of electric current can cause a strong soldier to bite his own tongue. This pain is 100 times more painful than a woman giving birth. If you can withstand it, then you are qualified to train in thunder technique. Chapter 64. Inside the room, Jiang Li was naked from head to toe, revealing his powerful muscles and bones. Recently, his height had increased by leaps and bounds. He had actually grown to 1.9 meters. He took out a set of silver needles, identified the acupuncture points, and slowly pierced them into his body. Not long after, His entire body was densely covered with silver needles, and a numb and itchy feeling arose. So itchy, I really want to pull out these needles. Jiang Li's teeth were chattering. The feeling of his body being pierced like a hedgehog without electricity was already very uncomfortable. Fortunately, his mind was firm, and his endurance was strong. After the last military training where a long sword pierced through his chest, he had matured a lot. Just a little meditation of the furnace heart ape technique was enough to turn the pain in his heart into a violent ape, and he used the furnace fire to refine it. There seemed to be a golden band shining between his eyebrows. Turn on the electricity. The button was pressed. Zzz. The silver needles were flickering with electricity. Ah! In that instant, Jiang Li felt as if he was being sliced by 1,000 blades. The intense pain almost caused him to faint, but he didn't. He could clearly feel that every acupuncture point in his body was being fiercely cut by a small knife. So painful! He gritted his teeth until they bled, and the sound of metal creaking could be heard. All the muscles in his body were contracting, and he almost wanted to jump, but he held on, knowing that if he jumped, all his previous efforts would be wasted. Only by sitting still, with the silver needles still in place, enduring the pain, and using his strong spirit to feel the electricity in his neurons, slowly familiarizing himself with the characteristics of electricity, and having a kind of understanding of thunder and lightning, could he practice thunder technique. Father, how long do you think Jiang Li can endure? On the big screen outside, Chu Cece was observing the changes in Jiang Li. Although Jiang Li was naked, she did not care at all. She was expressionless and very indifferent. At the same time, Chu Shan was carefully observing Jiang Li on the big screen. Many experts, when they come into contact with this thunder needle body refinement technique for the first time, will faint within a minute, and their hearts will twitch. I wonder how long he can last? Chu Shan was very curious. Jiang Li was in more and more pain. At the moment when the electricity was switched on, he was in excruciating pain. But as time passed, he felt as if millions of ants were biting his body, causing him to have the urge to scream. This kind of physical pain was added to the soul, it was simply hysterical. That kind of painful and itchy feeling was enough to make people want to bite off pieces of flesh from their bodies. Endure the pain. Jiang Li sat upright without moving. He knew that this was training. If he couldn't even endure this bit of pain, how could he accomplish great things? Asceticism is the best way to train one's mind. Back then, Shakyamuni was also an ascetic. In the end, his ascetic body couldn't take it anymore. He met a young girl who was a shepherd and gave him goat's milk. Only after drinking it did he have the strength to meditate under the Bodhi tree. He was enlightened and became divine. Chu Cece licked her lips. She saw Jiang Li's whole body trembling in the video. He seemed to feel the same way. She had also practiced the lightning needle body refining technique. Brain of the universe, Great Emperor Lightning Seal. In the intense pain, to distract himself, Jiang Li finally started to meditate on the Great Emperor Lightning Seal. Rumble. In the depths of his mind, countless lightning bolts appeared again. His hands made different movements, steady, fast, and unyielding. Slowly, the pain lessened. He felt that the electricity on the silver needles had merged with the lightning in his mind. He persevered. His mind became clearer and sharper. His soul seemed to be absorbing the power of the electricity and gradually grew stronger. The lightning meditation in his mind also became faster. His hair was the same as Gu Xiong's day. What happened? He's not in pain? Chu Cece could see Jiang Li's reaction. Huh? What kind of lightning technique is this? I've never seen it before? Chu Shan couldn't understand either. Because the Great Emperor Lightning Seal only had hand seals. There was no meditation or voice. It was just a fitness exercise. I don't know where he learned this messy martial art. Maybe he learned it from the internet. Chu Cece shook her head and continued to observe. Jiang Li was in a completely peaceful state. The pain from the silver needles did not affect him at all. After a full 5 minutes, the electricity flickered. It seemed like the energy on the needles had been depleted and needed to be recharged again. Jiang Li's body trembled. The silver needles fell to the ground. He opened his eyes. They were as bright as lightning. He felt that his cultivation had increased by another level. His understanding of the great Emperor Lightning Seal had deepened. At the same time, his body trembled slightly. Crackling sounds could be heard. His muscles, nerves, and blood vessels had been trained well under the stimulation of the electricity. Hungry. He then felt a wave of hunger. He quickly took out the moon spirit essence and consumed it. 1 bottle, 2 bottles, 5 bottles. After consuming 5 bottles, he finally stopped. Moonlight seeped out of his pores. As he breathed, the moonlight entered and exited his body. Normally, a powerhouse with a vitality of 1 would only need to take 1 drop of moon spirit essence a day. Any more and they would have excess nutrition. Jiang Li was currently drinking 50 days' worth of moon spirit essence, which was barely enough to provide him with enough nutrition. Clap, clap, clap. When Jiang Li wore his clothes and walked out of the room, Chu Shan applauded. Jiang Li, you are truly a genius, you are worth nurturing, I truly want to see how far you can grow. There's no more moon spirit essence. Jiang Li smiled bitterly. He only had 2 bottles left. If he continued to practice the lightning needle body refinement technique, it would not be enough for a day. During the process of cultivation, he realized that the lightning needle body refinement technique was indeed very helpful to the cultivation of the Great Emperor Lightning Seal. The Great Emperor Lightning Seal was the most profound lightning technique. It was hard to comprehend. However, the lightning needle body refinement technique could help him familiarize himself with the electricity and finally comprehend the lightning. Then I'm sorry. The Sun and Moon Corporation has already stopped supplying us with moon spirit essence. Chu Shan shook his head. We have to think of a way to break the Sun and Moon Corporation's blockade. Damn it. Jiang Li cursed in his heart. He thought of Jiang Lu and Gu Xiong's arrogant expressions. If he wanted to continue cultivating, he would need enough resources. Don't tell me I have to go to the black market again? Jiang Li thought. No, it's not safe. The Sun and Moon Corporation will definitely be watching me. Although I'm not afraid, it's better not to do something like this. He had seen the killing power of the Zhongwu mech. If this thing rushed over, no hypnosis could stop it. It would be torn apart. Night. In the black market of Suhua City, a Dahe cat walked in the darkness. Its speed was as fast as the wind. With a slight movement, one couldn't even see its shadow. In the darkness, it moved like a ghost. In a dark alley, a few men ran quickly. Each of them had a gun. They had just come out from the headquarters of the Sun and Moon Corporation and bought medicine. This is great. The Sun and Moon Corporation caused the price of moon spirit essence to drop. We can all afford it now. Let's go back and drink it. We'll get hypnotists to hypnotize us. If this continues, we can also become famous. Haha, after we become strong, we'll make a name for ourselves. The person we robbed today is really rich. He actually brought more than 100,000 to the black market. He's really daring. The few men had a vitality of 0.8 to 0.9. With their guns, there were very few people who could rob them. But just as they entered the dark alley, a Dahe cat came out and let out a meow. Immediately, the few men swayed left and right. They were instantly hypnotized. The Dahe cat walked to their side and searched. Soon, it found a few bottles of moon spirit essence. It drank 1 bottle first, then entered a crack in the wall where people couldn't reach and began to meditate. A few hours later, it suddenly opened its eyes. Both of its eyes were bright. It stored the rest of the moon spirit essence. Just like that, the Dahe cat did the same thing every day. It became stronger day by day. It walked in the black market, hypnotized the robbers. obtained nutrient fluids, pills, and moon spirit essence. During the day, it hid in the cracks in the wall to cultivate and open its optical computer to learn. 10 days passed. The Dahe cat's body underwent a qualitative change. It was strong and agile. Its roar was like thunder. Its claws could leave deep grooves in the wall. At the same time, its vocal cords also changed. Its tone became more and more varied. Finally, during one of its cultivation sessions, it suddenly spoke, Jiang Li. Finally, it transformed and learned the human language. The large amount of moon spirit essence caused its vocal cords to change, and it had more language learning abilities. It was another night. The Dahe cat once again came out from the crack in the wall to hunt. This time, its target was a strong man with vitality of one who rushed out from the sun and moon conglomerate. As soon as this strong man appeared, his figure flashed quickly. He used his gun to kill a few robbers who were spying on him and quickly left. The Dahe cat quietly followed behind him, not letting this strong man notice it at all. The strong man reached an empty alley. The Dahe cat blocked the way and appeared in front of him. Damn, scared me. So it's a cat. The strong man took out his gun and was about to shoot. When he saw clearly that it was a Dahe cat, he couldn't help but spit. Sleep, sleep. The Dahe cat actually spoke the human language. Its tone was like water, carrying with it a dreamy magic. Are you very tired? You haven't rested for a long time. Yes, yes. This strong man couldn't resist the Dahe cat's hypnosis. He was in a deep sleep state, but he was no match for the Dahe cat. Thump! He fell to the ground headfirst. The Dahe cat searched its body and found a few bottles of moon spirit essence. It drank a bottle in one gulp and said to itself, "It seems that my cells have been modified. Their ability to absorb nutrients has greatly increased." Then, it looked at the unconscious strong man. "How much money do you have in your account?" 100,000. The strong man said in a daze. "Very good. Get up and transfer the money to this account." The Dahe cat gave a series of account numbers. It was actually Jiang Li's. I'll transfer it." Under the powerful hypnosis of the Dahe cat, this strong man obeyed. He took out his chip, entered the password, and automatically transferred the money. Ding dong. Late at night, Jiang Li, who was cultivating, suddenly woke up. He found that his account had inexplicably increased by 100,000 star dollars. What happened? Who transferred the money to me? He was puzzled. He quickly checked the source of the account, but found that it was a person he didn't know. Moreover, the place where the money was transferred was from the black market in Suhua City. A windfall from the sky? Jiang Li couldn't believe it. Ding dong. An email was sent, and the figure of the Dahe cat appeared. It actually spoke the human language. Jiang Li, I hypnotized someone to transfer this money to you. Don't panic. What? Jiang Li almost jumped up. Chapter 65. In the video, Dahe the cat spoke very vividly. Other than its body being that of a cat, its soul, thoughts, actions, and words were all like a living human. Also, I hid 20 bottles of moon spirit essence deep inside an abandoned building. I drank all of them. Quickly send someone to retrieve them. Dahe continued, now that my cultivation has improved by leaps and bounds, this black market is really a treasure land. There are riches and treasures everywhere. Alright, use the remaining moon spirit essence to cultivate the flower mask king, Demeng, and the rest. Let them cultivate and come to the black market. Also, you can use the moon spirit essence yourself. Now that your cultivation is successful, you need nourishment the most. Ding dong. A set of coordinates was sent over. It was a corner of an abandoned building where 20 bottles of moon spirit essence were buried. Dahe was like an emissary from hell. Every time he went out at night, he would get 3 to 5 bottles of moon spirit essence. If it was in the past, Suhua City's black market would not have allowed him to get so much. But now that the price of sun and moon spirit essence had plummeted, Millions of people poured into the black market every day, causing it to be crowded. This increased Dahe's chances by 100-fold. Dahe, you're really amazing. You're practically a real-life version of Doraemon. Jiangli sent an email over and chatted with Dahe. Haha. Dahe the cat giggled. Jiangli, when I return from the black market, I'll spar with you. I hope you won't be hypnotized by me. I think my hypnosis skills are no worse than yours. Okay. Jiangli nodded. Be careful. If there's a chance, ask more of the Sun Moon Group's secrets. I'll get someone from the security company to retrieve the moon spirit essence. Ding dong. He sent an email to Gaoren reporting his coordinates. With the security company's strength, after operating in the black market for so many years, this was a piece of cake. About 3 hours later, Gaoren sent an email with a surprised expression. Brother Jiangli, we found 20 bottles of moon spirit essence, according to your coordinates. How did you do it? That's the secret. Jiangli smiled. He was worried that he didn't have enough resources for cultivation. Now that Dahe was active in the black market, it was like a moving treasure trove. If Flower Mask King, Demeng, and Air Meng went and formed an army of cats, how powerful would that be? While I'm cultivating, I have to teach Flower Mask King and learn more things. While I can give them a moon essence, of moon spirit essence every day, their cultivation will soar. Following that, Jiangli started to cultivate even more diligently. Other than hypnotizing clients every day, he also cultivated the lightning needle body tempering technique and consumed the moon spirit essence. Occasionally, Chu Shan would explain some of the profoundness of lightning techniques to him through videos. Under the effect of the thunder needle body refining technique, his mind was comprehending more and more of the mysteries of lightning and thunder, and his body was getting used to the stimulation of the electric current. Every time he refined his body, although it was extremely painful, he didn't care at all. He was safe and sound, motionless like a bodhisattva. His spirit seemed to have absorbed the energy of the electric current, causing his cultivation to advance by leaps and bounds. In the evening, he cultivated the Flower Mask King and the 5 cute kittens. He taught them in their dreams and gave them a drop of moon spirit essence every day, because they could only bear so much nutrition, or their organs would fail. They were also beginning to have the ability to hypnotize others. Originally, Jiangli wanted them to cultivate for a while more before going, but Dahe kept urging them, so Jiangli had no choice but to let them board the train to the black market. However, cats' ability to survive in the black market was stronger than people's. Once they went into many corners, people would never be able to find them in their lifetime. Who would care about a group of stray cats? In particular, stray cats had powerful hypnotic abilities. According to Dahe's cultivation speed, it is very likely that he will surpass me and reach the realm of meditation, becoming an intermediate hypnotist. Jiangli thought. With the speed of human cultivation, it was impossible to speculate about cats. What was a monster? Dahe was an authentic monster. Cultivation naturally could not be described with common sense. Security Group. Chu Sisi was listening to Gaoren's report. You mean, every 2 days, Jiangli will ask you to go to a place in the black market to pick up goods? All of them are moon spirit essence? Yes, he has taken 3 bottles in the past few days. The first time was 20 bottles, the second time was 7 bottles, and the third time was 10 bottles. Gaoren answered truthfully, I don't know why. Does he have other forces in the black market? I don't understand. Chu Sisi could only shake her head. Now the number of people Jiangli has hypnotized every day has reached 50. Who would believe it? Is he still a primary hypnotist? What is he doing after hypnosis today? He is practicing in our sports room. He is full of energy. I think he can still carry out hypnosis. Gaoren replied. Beep. Chu Sisi clicked on a monitor. In the depths of the huge sports room, Jiangli was hitting a big iron ball fiercely. One palm after another, like the thunder in the sky, roaring forever. Every time he hit the iron ball, a number appeared on the optical computer. 2 tons. This number was very accurate. Even the decimal point did not fluctuate. All of them were 2 tons. Jiang Li hit 100 times in a row. His body flashed and rushed forward. He was abnormally strong. His whole body moved. His muscles and bones sounded at the same time. Every time he hit, there was an unparalleled ferocious aura and wind. He showed his precise control of power. The power of each punch was equivalent to that kind of precision machine. It did not even exceed or decrease 1 kilogram. This was the most terrifying. Although it was important to have great power, it was more important to have precise control and not waste a little. Amazing! The power of each punch is 2 tons. Chu Cece walked into the sports room, and her face was full of surprise. Strength is secondary, it's the control of strength that's amazing. Now that you have more and more precise control of your physical body, it means that your brain and limbs have begun to coordinate like a precise instrument. This kind of control and your strength when used in combat is too terrifying. I'm still far from it. Jiang Li remembered the power of Jiang Lu that day. Jiang Lu's vitality was still above his. He had to continue to work hard and train harder. Tomorrow is the first day of school. At that time, the first test is to test your vitality. Let me see how much you can reach. Chu Cece was quite looking forward to it. Teacher, how much is the villa next to the White Dragon River? There are those that have been renovated. It's about 1,000 square meters. Jiang Li urgently needed a good villa to settle his parents and sister in. Currently, the most luxurious villa in the entire Xinghua city was located beside the Bailong River. Once one lived in this kind of villa, it would be very difficult for outsiders to come in. They would need to go through many levels of notification, and everything was fully automated. It was also difficult for Jiang Lu to go in. After all, this was a legal society. They could not make things big. If they forced their way in, the people living in the villa next to the White Dragon River were all government officials. If they spread the news to the world, not to mention Jiang Lu, even Jiang Zhenyue would not be able to bear the consequences. He already had 1 million star dollars on his card. These days, with his own hypnosis and Dahei's daily large transfer, the number on his bank card was rising. His parents didn't need to go to work. They could rest at home, safe and sound. You want to buy a villa? Chu Cece thought for a moment. The villa next to the White Dragon River is good. I invested in 2 in the early years. How about I sell you one? In any case, it has been renovated. You can move in at any time. How much? When Jiang Li heard this, he was very happy. It saved him a lot of trouble. I bought it for 1.5 million. Now the price has doubled. It's about 3 million. Chu Cece calculated. Okay, I'll give you 1 million as a deposit first. The rest will be paid in 2 months. How about it? Jiang Li did not bargain and immediately said. Now, he could earn a net income of 32,000 every day through hypnosis. In addition, Dahei was active in the black market every day. Sometimes he would transfer more than 100,000, sometimes 70 to 80,000. In this way, he could earn more than 100,000 every day, close to 200,000. In 1 month, he could pay off the debt of buying the villa. Okay. Chu Cece nodded. I'll give you the house chip now. Apply for the transfer on the optical computer. Immediately, the procedures were done quickly. Everything was done on the optical computer. It was done in a few minutes. Ding dong. Jiang Li transferred 1 million. There were only tens of thousands of star dollars left in his account. However, in the next moment there was a sudden sound. A message popped up on the chip. Your account has completed a transaction. The amount is 123,502 star dollars. Chu Cece seemed to have discovered a secret. Who transferred you 120,000? Little secret, little secret. Jiang Li kept it. Of course, he couldn't tell Chu Cece the truth. He could say that Dahe the cat hypnotized someone to transfer the money. Come, this is the villa's chip. I've entered your identity. You can use this chip to open the door and enter the villa. After receiving the money, Chu Cece handed a chip to Jiang Li. In my villa, there are training rooms and sports rooms. Remember, you still owe me 2 million. Pay it off as soon as possible. Seeing that Jiang Li suddenly had 120,000 in his card, Chu Cece didn't doubt his ability to repay. No problem. Jiang Li kept the chip and quickly went home to inform his parents to move. Brother, you actually bought a villa by the White Dragon River. That's the most expensive villa in Star City. Costs a few million. Other than those billionaires who buy mountains in the suburbs, all the government officials live there. Jiang Xian jumped 3 feet high. A villa by the White Dragon River? How much is that worth? Jiang Zhendong was shocked. Where did you get the money? Mom, Dad, sister, let's move in first. It's safer there. At least, there won't be any incidents of people breaking in. Jiang Li urged. The sooner the better. If that's the case, then let's move now. Mother quickly said. Yes, let's move now. Sister jumped up. I want to live in a villa. Oh, the furniture there is complete. You can move in directly. Jiang Li said. I don't want anything in the house. It's empty. Immediately, the family took a car to the villa by the White Dragon River. This villa was very large. It was surrounded by tall walls. There were retired soldiers patrolling the walls in flying cars. There were surveillance equipment everywhere. The villas were very large. They had their own garden, swimming pool, and beach. Jiang Li and his family walked to the door. With a swipe of the chip, the alloy door slowly opened. The AI on it checked the information. Chapter 66. Wow! Walking in, his little sister exclaimed. Inside the district was a huge park with rockery, running water, fountains, plazas, pavilions, white cranes, swans, and many fishes swimming in the deep pool. The entire district's air environment was different. There seemed to be a special purifying equipment, as there was not a single speck of dust. Jiang Li's keen senses told him that there were no mosquitoes or bugs in the bushes of the entire district. Even deep in the soil and in the sewers, there were no rats either. Everything was clean. Clearly, they had used some special method to drive away or kill those filthy things. The number of harmful bacteria in the entire district was 10 times less than outside. Living in this district would definitely increase one's lifespan by 10 years. This district is really good. Jiang Zhendong nodded. The family slowly toured and soon arrived in front of the villa. Jiang Xian snatched the chip from Jiang Li's hand and swiped the door open. Immediately, she was in high spirits. The entire villa was a 5-story building. The material was not reinforced concrete, but a type of polymer synthetic material. This material could transmit light, causing the entire house to have no dark corners. However, people outside would not be able to see inside at all. It could even absorb some wavelengths, making it impossible for people outside to peep and probe. The interior of the villa was very luxurious. Everywhere revealed a sci-fi atmosphere, especially the living room. When the door was pushed open, there was a huge beach. The beach was white and spotless. Then, a huge river rolled forward. The river was clear, and many fishes could be seen swimming around. There were even crabs burrowing on the beach. It was full of vitality. There was not a single bit of garbage in the river. It was like a piece of green, making people feel relaxed and happy. So cool. I want this room. Jiang Xian quickly snatched a large room by the river upstairs. She laughed happily and enjoyed the joy, completely forgetting about her worries. Jiang Li nodded. Dad, Mom, send an email to brother. When he finishes his military training, he can come here directly. Okay. His little sister lay on the large sofa, not wanting to move at all. The large sofa was made from the skin of a rare space beast called Cloud Beast. Lying on it was like lying in the clouds. It was good for sleep, and the smell secreted from it could relieve fatigue. A piece of cloud beast skin cost tens of thousands of star dollars. The decorations here were all high-end goods. Thus, the family settled down. Jiangli brought all the cats, big and small, into the courtyard of the villa. Immediately, the courtyard became lively. These cats were rolling up and down, climbing up and down, full of vitality and cuteness. He was now going to activate the intelligence of the other cats and send them to Dahe. Dahe needed more cats to go to the black market. Dahe now transferred money to Jiangli every day. Then, every 2 days, he would get someone from the security company to pick up the moon spirit essence at a designated location. It was simply a lucky cat. No, it was the god of fortune. At night, Jiang Li's account rang again. Your account has received a transfer of 828 star dollars. You have received a transfer of 3,473 star dollars. Your account has received a transfer of 14,580 star dollars. You have received a transfer of 87,463 star dollars to your account. In one night, his account received a huge sum of more than 200,000 star dollars. He sent an email to Dahe. Dahe, be careful. Don't do it too frequently. It would be bad if it attracted the attention of people with ulterior motive. It's okay. I just hypnotized an expert and actually found a bottle of sunlight essence on him. After drinking it and cultivating for a long time, my body became much stronger. It seems that I will be able to enter a meditative state soon. Dahe immediately replied. Flower Mask King has also reached the 3rd stage of deep sleep. The 5 Xiaomeng are also improving very quickly. We don't have to worry about food or drink here. We eat high-grade supplements every day. Sunlight essence was more violent than moon spirit essence. It was very difficult to control one's body and emotions after taking it. But with Dahe's cultivation, it could safely take it. Those who went to the black market all brought their own high-grade nutrient fluids because no one dared to eat in the restaurants of the black market. This made it easy for Dahe the cat. He could easily hypnotize a criminal and obtain a lot of resources. It was heaven for cats. Roar, roar, we cats will unify the black market. Jiangli, you have to unlock the intelligence of the other cats and send them over. Dahe repeatedly said. I will pay for your cultivation resources. I want to nurture you into a human powerhouse. Roar, roar. Jiangli didn't know whether to laugh or cry. But recently, he had indeed benefited too much from Dahe. It was not in vain that he helped him unlock intelligence. It could be said that with Dahe's help, the resources he had were even more than Yangxing. Taking 5 bottles of moon spirit essence every day was worth 350,000 star dollars. Yangxing's monthly consumption of resources was about this amount. And if this went on, wouldn't he have an income of over 1 million star dollars a month? Sun and Moon Corporation. Jiangli thought. Although your power is great, I have also started to nurture my own power. The cat army is more reliable than humans. I also have to speed up my cultivation and not let Dahe overtake me. Right, when will I pass the meditation of the brain of the universe to Dahe? Dahe will be even more invincible when he hypnotizes people. Also, Dahe saw the Dream Heart Sutra before me and is qualified to receive the teachings of the brain of the universe. Boom! Jiangli jumped up and sent an email to Dahe, telling it to come back quickly. And he entered the sports room of the villa to cultivate. Jiangli had recently cultivated the lightning needle body refinement technique, which used electric current to stimulate the nerves and cultivated the Great Emperor's Thunder Seal. The combination of the two complemented each other. The Great Emperor's Thunder Seal was becoming more and more powerful. When he attacked, the moves were forceful and invincible. Every strike caused the air to vibrate in his stomach and lower abdomen, bringing with it the rumbling of thunder. At this moment, Jiangli truly felt the existence of qi. When he moved, every inch of his joints, muscles, and internal organs were vibrating with resonance. It was as if he was communicating with the ancient Qi. His hands moved like lightning, and every strike was swift, fierce, valiant, and filled with a fierce, hot-blooded, and exciting aura. Rumble. He once again cultivated the great Emperor's thunder seal in the sports room. With a little force, he jumped 20 meters and hit the steel plate with his palm. The steel plate made a cracking sound and actually broke into pieces. His arm shook and swept across another steel plate. That steel plate also made a rumbling sound. It cracked inch by inch and then sputtered. He was simply a human-shaped destruction machine. Other martial arts, even the B-class martial arts, Ghost God Fist, were pitifully weak compared to the great Emperor's Thunder Seal. If Jiangli fought with Blood Feud now, he wouldn't be injured at all. His 5 viscera and 6 bowels would be completely shattered by the seal. Ding dong. At this moment, Jiangli had finished training in the lightning seal of the great emperor. His body was drenched in sweat, and he took a hot bath. As he sat cross-legged to recover his strength, the AI chip sent another message. It was from the cat Dahe. Jiangli, I'm already at the park. Come quickly. Jiangli immediately moved and came to the park under the cover of the night. It was late at night. In the depths of the bushes, a dark cat with green eyes was staring at him. It was the familiar Dahe. However, Dahe had changed a lot. Jiangli could feel the strong explosive power in its body as soon as he moved his spiritual energy. Just based on physical strength, even a master with 1 vitality was not its opponent. Jiangli, you've become stronger. Dahe spoke the human language. You've become stronger too, Dahe. Jiangli nodded. He saw Dahe jump up and land on his shoulder. Dahe's body had become much heavier. It was now at least 50 kilograms. However, its body did not grow much. It was obvious that its density had increased. Jiangli, why did you call me back? Dahe asked. I'll teach you a deeper cultivation technique. It's left behind by the sewer mummy. Jiangli put Dahe down and sat cross-legged. He looked serious. My family is facing an unprecedented crisis. You are my hidden brother. Okay. Dahe was the first to find the sewer mummy. It naturally knew that it was an earth-shattering existence. Let's meet in our dreams. Jiangli and Dahe both entered a deep sleep. They instantly entered a dream. In the dream, Jiangli told Dahe everything that had happened in his family. Then, he taught Dahe the cultivation technique of the brain of the universe and the great emperor's thunder seal. An hour later, both of them stopped. Dahe's cat eyes flashed. The meditation technique of the brain of the universe is indeed powerful. It's an ancient and mystical technique. The great emperor's thunder seal is only useful to me through meditation and sound. I can cultivate the hand seal. However, with this meditation technique, my spirit power will increase by another level. Go, my brother. Jiangli patted Dahe's head. We met the sewer mummy together. This is fate. Remember, only the 2 of us know about this. We can't tell anyone else. Otherwise, we'll both be in big trouble. This is an earth-shattering event. Indeed, we can't tell anyone else. Dahe knew how powerful it was. It was the first to discover the mummy. At that time, it didn't have intelligence and didn't know how powerful it was. Now that it had the intelligence of an adult, it was deeply afraid. Watching Dahe the cat scuttle into the bushes and disappear into the distance, Jiangli looked at the sky. It was beginning to turn white. The night had passed, and dawn had arrived. It was a new day. Today was the first day of school. The last semester of Year 3 had finally begun. He clenched his fists and walked to school. I wonder how high my vitality will be after this test? Hi, Jiangli. I heard that you've become the chief hypnotist of the security company. You're already very famous? As soon as he arrived at school, he saw Luohan and Serene. They seemed to be discussing something. How did the 2 of them become best friends? Getting better and better? Jiangli found it strange. The 2 of them were usually at odds with each other. It's just earning some money. It's not worth mentioning. It's not worth mentioning. At this time, the students of the top class all walked into the classroom. Jiang Li saw that everyone had arrived, but he didn't see Zheng Wenbing, Yang Wu, or Zhang Yu. He couldn't help but sneer. The three of them had already gone bankrupt and couldn't afford the fees for the top class. He was a student with vitality of 1, so the top class was free. However, Zheng Wenbing and the other two weren't. During the holidays, Jiang Li discovered that the cultivation of the students in his class had skyrocketed. It seemed that everyone was doing their best to improve. Look, Ouyang Xing is here. After a commotion, the number 1 person in the school, Ouyang Xing, finally walked into the classroom. Chapter 67. What a strong aura! Could it be that Ouyang Xing's vitality has reached 1, 2? No, it must be even stronger. During the last exam, his vitality was already 1, 1. After military training and a holiday, his strength definitely wouldn't have increased by just 0, 1. Also, I heard that in order to nurture him, the board of directors agreed to take out 10 million as his training fee. Oh right, the price of the moon spirit essence has fallen recently. This has allowed Ouyang Xing to obtain more resources. If the price of the moon spirit essence has fallen, how many experts will appear? Even if the price has fallen, ordinary rich people won't be able to enjoy it. The ones who benefit are still the rich. Ouyang Xing walked out from the door. The students dispersed because his aura was extremely strong. He was like a demon god. When people stood in front of him, they would feel a strong pressure on their hearts. They would feel short of breath. His shoulders were very broad, as if he could support a mountain. His eyes occasionally flashed, revealing a threatening aura. Jiang Li watched coldly. Not long later, the 47 students in the class gathered. The principal also appeared. Students, after a holiday, I can see that you have become much stronger. However, you still can't relax. This is the last semester's sprint. Don't say anything unnecessary. Now, let's start the entrance exam to test your vitality. Ouyang Xing, you go first. Be an example for everyone. Yes. Ouyang Xing's aura was ice-cold. He directly walked in front of the optical computer and started answering questions. The questions for this entrance exam were much fewer than the previous one. It was only about 1/10 of the previous one. However, the questions were very difficult. This time, it was purely to train one's thinking ability. However, Ouyang Xing answered all of them in 20 minutes. Full marks. After that, he entered the fist strength test, running test, and various other physical exercises. He was as fast as the wind and finished all of them within 10 minutes. Finally, he entered the martial arts master system to battle. Ding dong! An hour of testing passed. The optical computer faithfully displayed the vitality numbers. Ouyang Xing, vitality 1. 3. Rumble. A look of disbelief appeared on the principal's face. Vitality actually reached 1. 3. In just a short holiday, it increased by 2 points? Amazing! A few teachers in charge of the school exclaimed. It seems that the success rate of him entering Star University is very high. Focus on nurturing him. The success rate must be 100%. A vitality of 1. 3 was too powerful. This wasn't something that could be achieved by accumulating supplement. It also required one's own talent. It must be known that once a vitality reached 1, it would be very difficult to increase it to the limit. When Luohan and Serene saw this result, their expressions changed. Ouyang Xing's improvement was too fast. He had already left them far behind. Next, every student began to take the test. An hour later, Serene and Luohan's vitality had reached 1. 1. Apart from them, the other powerhouses who were originally at 1 vitality points had all risen to 1. 1, just like them. There were also 5 students whose vitality had risen from 0, 9 to 1. It seemed like this was the result of the moon spirit essence dropping in price. However, none of them managed to reach 1. 2. The headmaster looked at the data and shook his head. This kind of estimation is reasonable. The price of the moon spirit essence has dropped greatly in the black market, and the rich can afford it. Life force has increased, but it has not increased by leaps and bounds. Yes, Starry Sky University's exams are getting more and more difficult every year. I wonder how difficult this year's exam will be. A teacher sighed. Suddenly beep beep beep, the AI sounded again. Jiangli Vitality 1. 3. What? Another one with 1. 3? Who is this? Jiangli? The headmaster's body trembled. How is this possible? He was only a 1 student in the last exam. He increased by 3 points in 1 semester? Oh my God! What? Another student with a vitality of 1. 3? Jiangli is so powerful. Luohan and Serene looked at each other. They could see the shock in each other's eyes. Although they knew that Jiangli was strong, it was still outrageous for him to be this strong. At this moment, Ouyang Xing's eyes lit up. He looked at the numbers on the AI and licked his lip. He didn't believe that there was anyone in the school who could compete with him. During the holidays, he was sent to the army by his family and underwent hellish training. Finally, his vitality increased to 1. 3. He didn't expect someone to reach this number. Jiangli. Before the headmaster and the others could react, he took a step forward and appeared in front of Jiangli. Ouyang Xing, what do you think? Jiangli smiled. You also have a vitality of 1. 3. Not bad. Ouyang Xing's tone suddenly became very calm. However, I have to tell you that you won't be able to keep up with me. Rumble. As soon as he finished speaking, the entire sports room shook. Ouyang Xing's footsteps flickered. He suddenly appeared beside Jiangli and punched out. Attacking without hesitation was Ouyang Xing's style. When he attacked, he was decisive and never gave others any leeway to think. He was a ruthless person. B-grade martial art, Ghost God Fist. Appearing and disappearing like a ghost. There were many moves in the Ghost God Fist. The first move was Ghost God appears, and appearing and disappearing like a ghost was the killer move. It was very powerful and focused on footwork. In a flash, it was like the name of the move, appearing and disappearing like a ghost. It didn't take more than 1 move to kill the enemy. In 1 move, it was an absolute attack. His fist tore through the air and actually created a splash effect. The air trembled and splashed in all directions like a stream of water. This was a phenomenon created when one's speed reached a certain limit and pierced through the air. Great Emperor's Thunder Seal. Jiangli immediately knew that his opponent was sneaking an attack. His arm shook and the Great Emperor's Thunder Seal suddenly erupted. Both of their fists and palms collided. Kacha, kacha, consecutive loud sounds rang out. Jiangli and Ouyang Xing finally clashed again. In between their fists, both of their bodies were filled with qi. Bang! Both of them separated. Jiangli didn't move an inch, while Ouyang Xing took 3 steps back. The difference in strength was obvious. Ouyang Xing's strength isn't as good as Jiangli's. He's been repelled. Jiangli actually has the upper hand. The surrounding people reacted and quickly gathered around to watch. This was a battle between 2 great experts. Whoever won would be the true number 1 person in the academy. Ouyang Xing would definitely not allow others to surpass him. He was the first to make a move. He originally wanted to put down Jiangli's prestige, but he was forced to retreat. Ouyang Xing was repelled and his face revealed a look of disbelief. His face was red, as if he had been humiliated. Being repelled by Jiangli was the greatest humiliation in his life. He simply couldn't accept it. Ghost God Hell. Suddenly, Ouyang Xing directly entered the 3rd stage of deep sleep. His entire body was in a trance and his strength was even stronger. Another punch came over. This time, the power of this punch was even greater. A gust of wind tore through the air and shot towards Jiang Li's head at lightning speed. He was risking his life. After entering the third stage of deep sleep, Ouyang Xing's strength had increased by a lot. His moves, speed, damage, and reaction had all reached the peak. He didn't believe that he couldn't use his killing intent to fight against Jiang Li. He had killed before and deeply understood the art of fighting and killing. Those who block me shall die. I am number one. A low roar came from his body like a beast in human form. You want to fight force with force? Bring it on. Jiang Li's eyes were calm and he also entered the third stage of deep sleep. Dream God Force. He let out a long roar. All the qi in his body gushed out like a volcano erupting. He used all his strength. One after another, loud sounds of breathing could be heard coming from within. Thunderous fluctuations could be seen everywhere, and lightning could be seen spitting out mountains. The whole classroom was filled with wind and clouds. Everyone's ears seemed to hear thunder, causing their minds to go blank. Even Luohan, Serene, and some other experts had pale faces. Under Jiang Li's roar, they couldn't react at all, causing their minds to go blank. The other experts with vitality of 0.9 all sat on the ground and grabbed their heads tightly with both hands, covering their ears. But it was useless. That voice also contained hypnosis technique. Thunder! A long syllable came out from Jiang Li's nose. His entire body was like a sonic tearing machine. Adding on his physical strength, he suddenly activated the Great Emperor's Thunder Seal with full power. Bang bang bang! He waved his arms. His hands behind his back were like spiders with 3 heads and 6 arms. He attacked Ouyang Xing fiercely like a storm. Ouyang Xing's aura was completely suppressed. Ghost God Fist's defense was instantly broken by the Great Emperor's Thunder Seal. Thunder! Jiang Li's figure flashed and ruthlessly slammed his palm on Ouyang Xing's abdomen. Ouyang Xing's 1.9 meters body was sent flying and slammed into the wall. He couldn't catch his breath. His eyes rolled back and then he fainted. The Great Emperor's Thunder Seal is indeed powerful. Jiang Li exited the dream state. Looking at his hands, he was very pleased. He had never felt that his body could explode with such power. If he trained for a long time, it wouldn't be impossible for him to tear apart a mecha with his bare hands. 200 years ago, during the era of the country, martial arts were flourishing. But without resources, it was impossible to break through the limits of the body. But now it was different. Moreover, the explosive power of the Great Emperor's Thunder Seal was too strong. When the seal exploded, Ouyang Xing didn't even have a chance to fight back. He was completely defeated. Ouyang Xing lost. He lost so quickly? What was that? Was that thunder from Jiang Li? My mind went blank and I thought I was brain dead. Could this be the legendary thunder art? 5 Thunder Palm? It's also a B-grade martial art. It's even stronger than the Ghost God Fist? Amazing. It's really amazing. Ouyang Xing was defeated just like that. It wasn't even possible for both sides to be injured. He was completely suppressed in terms of momentum. All the students looked at Jiang Li in a different light. The original fight between the two heroes was completely broken. Ouyang Xing was defeated. The situation became one-sided. With just a few punches and kicks, Ouyang Xing fainted. Why did you fight without permission? After the lightning-fast exchange, the teacher finally came back to his senses. Lazy Dragon was the first to attack. He took a step forward and walked in front of Ouyang Xing in an instant. He felt his pulse and heaved a sigh of relief. It's not a big deal. His blood and qi are not in harmony and he's physically suffocating. He'll wake up after resting for a while. There aren't any injuries. Lazy Dragon then raised his head and looked at Jiang Li. You did it? That's right. He attacked suddenly. I didn't kill him because we're classmates. Otherwise, I could have pierced through his body. Jiang Li didn't care about Ouyang Xing at all. Chapter 68. Ouyang Xing, the number 1 person in the school with a vitality of 1.3 3 was like a rising star, but before he could shine, he was defeated by Jiang Li and lost all his face. Jiang Li suppressed everyone with his domineering aura. At this time, the principal and the person in charge of the school also came over. Lazy Dragon massaged Ouyang Xing's body twice. Ouyang Xing slowly woke up. As expected, he was not injured. Jiang Li's mastery of fist techniques was very high, and the power of each punch was precise. Amazing! To be able to hold back in a battle of this level, your strength is obviously higher than Ouyang Xing's. Lazy Dragon gave Jiang Li a thumbs up. He was telling the truth. At this time, the person in charge of the school and the principal were watching the video and found that it was indeed Ouyang Xing who made the first move. He used the Ghost God Fist and started the battle. The two clashed, and Jiang Li pushed Ouyang Xing back. Next, Ouyang Xing entered the third stage of deep sleep and attacked fiercely, but Jiang Li was even more fierce. With a long roar, the sound of thunder rumbled in his body, completely suppressing Ouyang Xing's aura. His body moved like lightning and directly broke Ouyang Xing's defense, sending him flying with a palm strike. The principal's eyes were sharp, and he could immediately see that Jiang Li's vitality was higher than Ouyang Xing's, and his combat skills were also better. Miracle, this is really a miracle. The principal looked at Jiang Li with admiration. Your strength has reached such a level, our school will nurture you well. Tell me, what do you need? The school will try to satisfy you. I won't cause trouble for the school for now. Jiang Li knew that the school couldn't give him what he wanted, but he said something good first. When I need it, I will definitely report to the school. Today, after the vitality test, I will go back to work. If there is any training, just email me. Beep, beep, beep. At this time, the principal's chip vibrated, and a message appeared on it. He was shocked when he saw the email, and it took him a while to recover. Students, today there will be a new student coming to our school. A new student? Directly into the top class? Who is this person? Many people were stunned for a moment. One must know that this important class was not something that could be casually entered. One must pass the examination, the school's screening, and the Ministry of Education's approval to enter. Even the current billionaire of Star City could not enter this class. Jiang Li's heart jolted. He had a bad premonition. Woo woo woo. Sure enough, many flying cars appeared in the sky above the school and landed in a grand manner. Then, everyone saw a 17 or 18-year-old youth walk out of the largest car. Jiang Li's expression drastically changed. That's right, that youth was Jiang Lu. Each and every one of his movements had an aura 10 times stronger than Ouyang Xing's. He walked in front of the principal and glanced at him. Jiang Li could feel his disdain and killing intent. To him, this Jiang Lu was equivalent to looking at a very annoying reptile. He simply didn't look at him seriously. Hello, headmaster. He stepped forward and shook hands with the headmaster. I'm Jiang Lu from the Sun and Moon Corporation. Nice to meet you, nice to meet you. The headmaster hurriedly clasped his hands. Although the other party was a transfer student, he was a member of the Sun and Moon Corporation's Jiang family. He was not someone that the headmaster could contend with. This time, our Sun and Moon Corporation came to Star City to invest, and I happened to be taking the entrance exam to Star City University. So, I came here to study. Headmaster, you won't object, right? Jiang Lu pulled out his hand and said, Welcome, you are very welcome. I heard that young Master Jiang Lu's vitality has reached 1.5. Getting into Star City University is a piece of cake. Our school can't even accept a peerless genius like you. The headmaster was very happy. Jiang Lu's entrance exam to Star City University was a matter of course. Now, Jiang Li and Ouyang Xing were two very promising seed. In any case, if the school were to give him 3 places, it would definitely be his capital. I wonder who has the highest vitality in the school's top class? Jiang Lu asked. Their life force is nothing compared to yours. The headmaster quickly said. Currently, the highest vitality in the school is 1. 3. Jiang Li and Ouyang Xing. Oh? 1. 3 vitality? The corner of Jiang Lu's mouth revealed a trace of a smile. It's rare to see such a student in a place like Star City. I want to see how it goes. Close. Jiang Li, Ouyang Xing, come up and meet the new student, Jiang Lu. The headmaster nodded and turned around. Ouyang Xing's eyes flickered. Just now, he was defeated by Jiang Li. He felt humiliated and wanted to take revenge, but the sudden appearance of Jiang Lu weakened his momentum a lot. Although the Ouyang family is big, they are only the richest family in Star City. Compared to the Sun and Moon Corporation, they are less than an ant. Jiang Lu didn't even look at him, but looked at Jiang Li. Your surname is also Jiang? His first sentence was very impolite. The surname Jiang is a great surname. I'm afraid you can't bear it. I suggest you change your name. As soon as this sentence came out, even the headmaster's face changed. No one expected Jiang Lu to be so impolite. Luohan and Serene were furious. You don't need to worry about my surname. Could it be that only the Sun and Moon Corporation can have the surname Jiang? If you are so powerful, go and change the human law. Say that only the people of the Sun and Moon Corporation can have the surname Jiang. I will change my name immediately. Jiang Li smiled coldly. Facing Jiang Lu's strength, he was not afraid at all. Although Jiang Lu's vitality was 1. 5 and he was no match for him in terms of combat, it was hard to say when it came to hypnosis. Jiang Lu's state of mind was definitely not in a meditative state. As long as he was not in a meditative state, it would be very difficult for him to resist Jiang Li's hypnosis. He could even resist Gu Xiong's hypnosis. Jiang Lu's resources were very strong, but no resources could help him in his state of mind. Especially in a meditative state, he had to comprehend it himself. Jiang Li, aren't you going to work? Hurry up. The headmaster saw that the situation was not right and immediately shouted. Yes, headmaster. Jiang Li bowed and left. Jiang Lu's eyes flashed with killing intent. At this time, the headmaster said, Young Master Jiang Lu, let me show you around our school. You have just arrived, so you need to familiarize yourself with the environment. The headmaster's words were just right to prevent Jiang Lu from going berserk and hurting him. Jiang Lu frowned. Seeing that Jiang Li had already left, he knew that the principal was trying to resolve the situation. His eyes flashed with a hint of gloominess. At this time, a black-clothed man beside him whispered, Young master, don't make things too big. There will be plenty of opportunities to slaughter that little bastard. Go and keep an eye on this little bastard. Send someone to watch his every move. Jiang Lu ordered and then nodded to the headmaster. Since it's like this, I will take a look around the school. Jiang Li quickly left the school and returned to the security organization. On the entire Earth, the security organization was the local tyrant. Even if the Sun and Moon organization were to appear out of nowhere, they would not be able to crush the security organization. I'm still not strong enough. After arriving at the security organization, Jiang Li carried out his daily routine of hypnosis. This time, the number of hypnosis he performed was even higher, reaching to 60. His daily income had reached 38,400 yuan. In a month, he would be able to earn millions. In Xinghua City, this was already the highest salary. However, he now owed Chu Cc 2 million yuan. Fortunately, the Dahe cat was getting stronger and stronger. He was looking forward to what realm the Dahe cat would reach after going back and cultivating the universe brain. As long as I can meditate. After the hypnosis, Jiang Li consumed the moon spirit essence to recuperate and thought about how he could become stronger. After thinking about it, the only way to improve quickly was to enter the meditative state. After entering this state, he might be able to unlock the mysteries of the Dream Heart Sutra. At that time, he would be able to learn more moves of the Great Emperor Seal. At the same time, the meditation and hypnosis techniques of the universe brain would improve further. However, entering the meditative state was extremely difficult. To see through life and death, to understand that life was like a dream, what kind of mental state was this? Normally, only people who had experienced many changes in life could understand this. For example, Chu Shan and Gu Xiong were both old men. Then there's only one way, and that is to use the milky white stone again, forcefully using the embryonic breathing technique to train, but unfortunately it will damage the cells. Jiang Li caressed the Dream Heart Sutra on his chest. However, if I have enough fruit of life, there won't be any damage when I train. Instead, my cells will become stronger and stronger. Unfortunately, the lowest price is 4 million per pill. His thoughts flashed, and he thought of the fastest way to improve. That was to eat the fruit of life and then train with embryonic breathing technique. This way, he would be able to improve by leaps and bounds in a short period of time. Today's test, your vitality was 1-3. You even defeated Ouyang Xing? At this time, Chu Cece came in. Yes. However, Sun and Moon Corporation's Jiang Lu has entered the school and become our new classmate. Jiang Li's tone was very normal. This person seems to be very arrogant. He can't tolerate others with the surname Jiang and wants me to change my surname immediately? Ignore him. His hedonistic personality is just acting up. Chu Cece didn't know about the grudges between Jiang Lu and Jiang Li. She waved her hand. You have already hypnotized 60 people. Have you reached the limit? Probably not. Jiang Li shook his head and suddenly asked, How many fruit of life are there in the security organization? Fruit of life. What do you want it for? Chu Cece was puzzled. Aren't your injuries completely healed? If you eat it again, it won't have any effect. The fruit of life is mainly used to heal injuries. If people who are not injured eat it, the medicine will be completely useless. Of course I have a use for it. Jiang Li said, I practice a forbidden technique that damages my cells. If I have the fruit of life, I can continue to practice it and unleash the strongest power in a short period of time. In this way, in less than a month, I can definitely hypnotize 100 customers every day. Hypnotize 100 customers every day? Are you sure? Chu Cece was shocked. If that's the case, as long as you have money, our security organization can get some for you. But the lowest price is 4 million each. And this is under the situation where our organization is not making money. Can you afford it? I can't. Jiang Li shook his head. I'm just asking. Does the Sun and Moon Corporation sell the fruit of life in the black market? Isn't that obvious? The fruit of life is a holy healing item. As long as you eat it, any injury can be alleviated and even healed. Even if the juice is smeared on the wound, it will immediately heal. Big shots always have some in reserve to prevent themselves from getting into trouble. Chu Cece said. That's good. Jiang Li's eyes flashed. Chapter 69. Dahe, pay close attention to the Sun-Moon Group's fruit of life. Jiang Li sent an email to Dahe. Also, Flower Mask King, how are De Meng and Air Meng's cultivation? They're cultivating very well. Now, each of them can hypnotize those gangsters. It's a pity that they can't be evaluated, or else they'd all be powerful beginner hypnotists. Flower Mask King can hypnotize 15 people a day. 5 Xiao Meng can hypnotize 10. They've been consuming moon essence every day, and I've already given up on it. I've switched to sun essence. How are the effects of consuming sun essence? Jiang Li looked at the mail. On the bottom floor of the abandoned building, there were 7 cats training. In the corner of the bottom floor, there were many medicines. There were nutrient fluids, snow marrow, moon essence, and even sun essence. Other than that, there were also some unknown medicines. The 7 cats had more resources than Jiang Li. Of course, their cultivation was fast. Moreover, each of them had an optical computer chip. They could search for information on the internet. With the internet in their hands, they knew everything in the world. The effect is very small. My body, cells, every inch of my bones and veins have all grown. Don't worry. Dahe the cat said, "Oh right, I intercepted 10 bottles of sun essence yesterday. I can't use them all, so I hid them somewhere else. Send someone to get them." "That's great," Jiang Li said solemnly. "Thank you, brother. I'm just lacking resources to cultivate now." "There's no need to thank me. I was just a wild beast, muddle-headed. It was you who opened up my intelligence and gave me my current achievement. When I was lost, you came to help me. Now that you're in trouble, I'll help you. In this vast sea of suffering, we can only walk on if we support each other." Dahe the cat's tone was very ethereal. His spiritual cultivation seemed to have increased by a few levels. He actually had the aura of a holy figure. Jiang Li's heart skipped a beat. He knew that Dahe the cat wasn't far from entering meditation. "I'll look for fruits of life for you. Wait for my good news." Dahe the cat communicated with Jiang Li for a while more, and then began to cultivate. Jiang Li immediately called Gao Ren and asked him to collect the Sun Soul Essence. 5 hours later, 10 bottles of glaring light fell into his hands. Inside the Moon Spirit Essence bottle was a ball of moonlight. It was gentle and cool, giving off a feeling of loneliness at the top. The Sun Spirit Essence was a ball of fire that was about the size of a soybean. It continuously flickered and emitted a brilliant fiery glow. Swallowing it would cause one to experience even more intense mental hallucinations. Jiang Li took out a bottle and gulped it down. Immediately, he felt a ball of fire burning fiercely in his throat and stomach. Then, it spread to every inch of his blood vessels, meridians, and even his brain. It was especially so for his brain. His nerves were stimulated, and he was so excited that he wanted to dance crazily. Once, there was an ordinary person who took the Sun Spirit Essence. He was so excited that he kept dancing and finally died from exhaustion. This thing was 100 times stronger than the mental hallucinations caused by the ecstasy pills from 200 years ago. However, Jiang Li didn't dance. Instead, he sat down and entered a deep sleep. He used his own soul to subdue the mental stimulation and train his will. Gradually, he was in a peaceful state. After 30 minutes, he felt the medicinal power spread throughout his body. He immediately began to cultivate the Great Emperor Thunder Seal. His whole body was like a tiger leaping and a wolf running. Every move he made was like a rolling thunder with great power. In this way, he once again immersed himself in cultivation. In a flash, half a month had passed since the start of school. Jiang Li forgot everything else in his cultivation every day and didn't go to school. The school could no longer teach him anything. Moreover, it was to avoid conflict with Jiang Lu. He spent an hour in the morning to hypnotize his client. Now, the number of people he hypnotized had reached 70. Every day, he could earn 44,800 star dollars. Then, during the day, he took the Sun Spirit Essence and cultivated the Lightning Needle Body refining technique, before cultivating the Great Emperor Thunder Seal. At night, he took the Moon Spirit Essence and entered a deep sleep. He communicated with the cats at home in his dream and opened their wisdom. His parents also no longer went out to work. Instead, they stayed at home to recuperate. Jiang Li also gave them tonics and then hypnotized them to rest. His sister also underwent various exercises and gradually became stronger. Unfortunately, his brother Jiang Tao's military training still hadn't ended and he still hadn't returned. In this half a month, after moving to the White Dragon River Villa district, there really wasn't any harassment. It was very quiet and relaxing. Ding dong. Jiang Li transferred 2 million star dollars to Chu Cici's card. The money for buying the house was completely paid off. "You got 2 million in just half a month?" Chu Cici said in disbelief. "Even if you hypnotize yourself for 50,000 a day, it's impossible to get so much? Where did the money come from?" "Little secret." Jiang Li smiled. In this half a month, he cultivated crazily and advanced by leaps and bounds. Alternately taking the sun and moon essence, his mind had a deeper understanding of the sun and moon. At night, he took the moon's spirit essence and meditated to feel the mystery of the moon. His whole body felt cool. And during the day, he took the sun's spirit essence and meditated to feel the magnificence of the sun, which gave power to all things. Forget it, you have too many secrets. Cultivate well. Right now, even my father can't give you any pointers. You have to comprehend everything on your own. Chu Cece said, meditate, you must meditate so that your strength can really advance by leaps and bounds. Otherwise, even if you take more tonics, it will be difficult to improve. I know. Jiang Li nodded heavily. At the same time, on the outskirts of Starflower City, on a huge mountain, an arm-thick iron stake was broken by a kick. With a beautiful whirlwind kick, Jiang Lu kicked the broken iron stake deep into the wall. He attacked with his bare hands, and the destructive power was astonishing. His whole body was as sharp as a mecha. Young master's physical strength has increased again. The old man Gu Xiong praised. Looks like it won't be long before it reaches 1. 6. This little bit of increase is not what I want. Jiang Lu punched again, causing the air to rumble. How can I meditate? I have been practicing the Void Demon God / for a long time, but I can't reach the state of meditation. What should I do? The method is very simple. You can kill whoever makes you unhappy. The Void Demon God / is a high-grade meditation technique. Its true meaning is to treat everything as the void and treat everything in the mortal world that makes you uncomfortable as ghosts and gods. Only by slaying all the ghosts and gods can you enter a meditative state. The old man Gu Xiong continued. When one cultivates the void ghost / to the extreme, they would have a kind of aura. All living beings would be treated as ghosts and gods, and they would all be slain. Those who submit to me will prosper, and those who oppose me will perish. Young master, do you feel unhappy? Now? I'm very unhappy. Jiang Lu broke an iron pillar with his elbow. Jiang Zhendong's family is still not dealt with? According to the Jiang family's rules, we should directly capture them and get rid of those bastards so that Jiang Zhendong can research the sun and moon essence. The main reason is that Jiang Tao's identity made my father have some misgivings. Moreover, that damn Jiang Li bastard, he actually didn't bow and scrape to me? This attitude makes me very unhappy. If you are unhappy, then just kill them. Gu Xiong said. Only by killing them will young master feel at ease, and your cultivation will advance by leaps and bounds. That's right, I want to kill them. Jiang Lu stopped and stood still. Void Demon God / he. These two brothers will become my stepping stones to enter the state of meditation. Is Ouyang Xing here? Young master, Ouyang Xing has arrived. He has been waiting outside for a long time. A man in black walked in. Call him in. Yes. Not long after, the man in black brought Ouyang Xing in. Ouyang Xing lowered his head. In the past, he was full of vigor, but in front of Jiang Lu, he didn't dare to be presumptuous. The other party's power was too great, even enough to make his family go bankrupt. I heard that Jiang Li defeated you? Jiang Lu asked. Raise your head. Yes. Ouyang Xing could only do as he was told. Young master, what's your order? My order is very simple. Jiang Lu proudly said, I will give you a task. Create an opportunity for me to personally kill the two Jiang Li brothers. How about it? This. Ouyang Xing was stunned. Killing people absolutely cannot be done in Star City, unless the two brothers go to the black market. However, Jiang Tao didn't go home to participate in the military training, and Jiang Li didn't come to school every day. The possibility of them going to the black market is very small. Of course I know. Jiang Lu snorted, which made Ouyang Xing's body tremble. Jiang Tao won't say it. Wait until he comes back and then kill him. Now I want you to take Jiangli to the black market. Young master is so powerful. Can't you personally take Jiangli to the black market and then kill him? Ouyang Xing was stunned. It's not convenient for me to do it. The reputation of Sun and Moon Corporation is important, so I came to you. Since you were defeated by him, you can take revenge on him in the name of revenge. Jiang Lu said, no matter what method you use, you must take Jiangli to the black market. Do you understand? After this, I can give you a lot of benefits. If you don't listen to me, you should know the consequences. My casual action can make your family's business difficult and bankrupt. Yes, I will go back and plan. Ouyang Xing's whole body was covered in cold sweat. Go. Jiang Lu waved his hand and waited for Ouyang Xing to leave. Call Zheng Wenbing, Zhang Yu, and Yang Wu here. Young master is quite capable. Instead of doing it yourself, you let these people who have a grudge with Jiangli do it. This way, even if something happens, it will have nothing to do with the reputation of our Sun and Moon Corporation. Gu Xiong praised. I'm too lazy to use my own power. It's better to let these small characters do it. Jiang Lu laughed. It won't be a pity even if something happens to them. At this time, the three people were brought in. Zheng Wenbing and the other two people bowed even more to Jiang Lu, almost kneeling. Have your families gone bankrupt? Jiang Lu asked. Young Master Lu, can you help us? Zheng Wenbing grabbed the chance and begged. Back then, we bought young Master Lu's moon essence and were robbed in the black market. We don't know who did it. I'll tell you who did it. Jiang Lu stood with his hands behind his back. Who is the most powerful hypnotist in Star City? Jiang Li. Zheng Wenbing suddenly woke up. He signed a contract as a hypnotist for the security company. Now, he can hypnotize dozens of people every day. Only this kind of ability can rob our goods. Yes, it's him. Jiang Lu said. Now you know what to do, right? Chapter 70. We know what to do. Zheng Wenbing's eyes flashed with hatred. Young Master Lu, don't worry. As long as you support us, we'll make sure he's beyond redemption. After knowing that their family's 7 million moon essence was stolen by Jiangli, the three of them hated Jiangli to the core. Even if they used all the water in the world, they wouldn't be able to wash away their hatred. Of course, I'll support you in your revenge. At least make him spit out the 7 million moon essence. Jianglu tapped the screen and a lot of information appeared on it. Look, Jiangli has already bought a villa in the White Dragon River Villa District. You guys will also live in this district. Monitor his family's every move and report to me at any time. Got it? He can actually afford a villa by the White Dragon River. Zhang Yu clenched his fists. Seems like our goods were stolen by him. We can't live under the same sky. Young Master Lu, our family's cash flow is not good. Our house has been mortgaged and we're no longer living in the White Dragon River Villa. I'm afraid we won't be able to monitor it. Zheng Wenbing's eyes flashed. If I tell you to live there, you'll live there. Got it? Jianglu waved his hand and threw 3 chips to the three of them. This is your original villa. I bought it. If you work hard for me, it won't be difficult to return it to you. What? The three of them took the chips and looked at each other. Then, they lowered their heads. From now on, we'll go through fire and water for young Master Lu. We won't hesitate. Go. Jiang Lu turned his back to the three of them and they left. Beep, beep, beep. Jiang Zhenyue's figure appeared on the 3D screen in Jiang Lu's house. Lu, come to my office. Yes. Jiang Lu immediately went up and saw his father in the office on the top floor. Father, why are you looking for me? Look at the news I received recently. Jiang Zhenyue tapped on the screen and a lot of words appeared. 36 Hua cities are launching a super big student trial? Sending the best of the graduating high school students to Planet Ripple for cruel training to increase their strength so that more of them can enter Starry Sky University? Jiang Lu was shocked. Is this news true? Of course. Jiang Zhenhua nodded. On Earth, all the cities with the word He in them are the descendants of the Huaxia country from 200 years ago. In the entire human government, the descendants of the Asian race occupy a large position. However, the upper echelons of the human government are fighting openly and secretly, accumulating power and gaining more authority. The students trained by Star University were all elites who would become senior government officials in the future. Therefore, the more people of the same race were admitted, the more power they would have in the future. A few years ago, Caucasians were the majority in the Star University exam. So this time, the government officials of the Asian bloodline have made up their minds and sent their students to train in order to nurture more peerless experts. Tisk, tisk. Jiang Lu smiled. You're actually going to planet Ripple Wave for a trial? That's one of the most dangerous planets discovered by mankind. You will also be participating in this trial. Jiang Zhenhua nodded. This is a trial for you. Although our Sun and Moon group is big, there are many disciples like you, so the resources won't fall on you. Moreover, our Sun and Moon group is still relatively weak compared to the entire human government of the Huaxia country. I hope you can stand out in this trial and get the favor of the leaders of the Huaxia country. This relationship will be very helpful for you to improve your family's status. On Earth, there were 36 cities with the word Hua in them. They were all descendants of the Huaxia country from 200 years ago. The largest was Hua City, which was about 10 times the size of Hua Star City. It was in charge of the other Hua cities. It was a first-tier city that belonged to the human race. The other Yanhua City, Yuehua City, and Rihua City were all second-tier cities. As for Hua Star City, it was a fourth-tier or fifth-tier city. Although the Sun and Moon group was huge, Jiang Zhenhua himself was just a senior executive in the group, so he didn't have much resources to mobilize. If he could have a relationship with the leaders of the Huaxia country, it would be of great benefit. Also, Lu Er, I hope you can get first place in this trial. Jiang Zhenhua said, this is a training for you. Defeat all the students and get first place. Don't let down the Jiang family's reputation. Of course. Jiang Lu's mouth revealed a trace of a smile. How can those country bumpkins on Earth be my opponent? Oh right, in the trial, I can easily kill Jiang Li. As for Jiang Zhendong, I will have to rely on my father. Jiang Zhendong will return to the Sun and Moon group to continue his research. It is a foregone conclusion that he can't avoid it. Capture his son, cripple him, and threaten him. He will naturally listen to us and follow us to research. Jiang Zhenhua waved his hand indifferently. In Hua Star City there are laws. You can't threaten him openly. When you reach Planet Ripple, you can do whatever you want to his son. Yes. Jiang Lu looked at the sky. I can't wait, ding dong. On this day, Jiang Li was training. Suddenly, a message came from the chip. Jiang Li, come to my office. It was from Chu Cece again. Jiang Li immediately went to the office and saw that there was a lot of information on the big screen. Chu Cece looked at it carefully. The leaders of the capital are making a big move. They are preparing for a super big trial among the students. They are sending all the third-year students with vitality points of 1 to the dangerous planet Quaking Wave to train and nurture experts. Planet Ripple? That's dangerous. Jiang Li was moved. He had never left Earth before. He had never even been to the capital. This is the ruthlessness of the leaders of the capital. They want to cultivate strong people and fight for more power for the yellow race when they enter Star University. Chu Cece said, I believe that in a few days, the school will send you a message asking you to go. Your vitality is 1.3. Although it is not as good as the top students in the capital, it is not too far off. What? My current strength is not as good as the top students in the capital? What is their vitality? Jiang Li was shocked. I heard that there are students with vitality exceeding 1.5. After all, the capital is the #1 city among all the Hua cities, a first-tier human city. The resources in the capital are not something that a small Hua city can compare with. For example, there are no intermediate hypnotists in Hua City, but there are many in the capital. There is even an advanced hypnotist. Chu Cece said. High-level hypnotist. Jiang Li's eyes lit up. The intermediate hypnotists he met, whether it was Chu Shan or Gu Xiong, were all earth-shattering figures. Intermediate hypnotists were already so powerful. How powerful would a high-level hypnotist be? A high-level hypnotist could hypnotize people to unleash their full potential. With just a thought, an ordinary person could become a monster with infinite strength. Even a high-level hypnotist could develop other people's brain and increase their intelligence. This was the power of the ancient masters. You are powerful in Star Hua City, but in the capital you don't stand out. Chu Cece said. The most powerful student in the capital can probably compete with Jiang Lu. You need to continue to work hard. I am looking forward to going to another planet for training. Jiang Li looked up at the sky. The mysterious universe touched everyone's heart. Jiang Li cultivated even more diligently, comprehending the profound mysteries of the great Emperor's Thunder Seal. He was completely immersed in the tempering of his soul and body. He didn't know how long it would take, but he really felt like he was dreaming for 1,000 autumns, and he didn't know what year it was. Every day, he would drink 2 bottles of Sun Spirit's essence and 5 bottles of Moon Spirit's essence at night. Under the crazy training, his whole body's muscles and bones became firm. Every time he exerted his strength, it was like a dragon's roar. Every inch of his pores was filled with air and thunder. He had condensed the great Emperor's Thunder Seal into his bone marrow. Unfortunately, his state of mind was still not at the state of meditation. Fortunately, his body's strength was still increasing. Of course, he could not reach one. For Dahe, how is your cultivation? Jiang Li sent a message. I might be going to another planet for training. Roar, roar, roar. Dahe replied, Jiang Li, I have cultivated the brain of the universe and my spirit force has increased tremendously. Recently, I have been able to hypnotize people easily. Today, I hypnotized another expert. That expert was actually a beginner hypnotist from the capital. After being hypnotized by me, he actually resisted but was defeated by me. I obtained 20 bottles of Sun Spirit's essence from him. However, I didn't manage to find any information about the fruit of life. Oh right, I obtained 200,000 from this beginner hypnotist. Did you receive the transfer? Anyway, there's no rush. Just take care of yourself. Only then did Jiang Li look at his microchip account. As expected, there was an additional transfer of 200,000 star dollars. I received it. Good fellow, I have been immersing myself in my cultivation for the past few days. The funds in my account are about to exceed 1,000,000 star dollars again. Right now, the funds in his account were 963897. 25 star dollars. It was all the money that Jiang Li had received from the past few days of hypnosis and Dahe the cat's transfer. Ever since he had Dahe the cat, it was equivalent to having a god of wealth. Also, in another place, I have buried 30 bottles of Moon Spirit's essence, 10 bottles of Sun Spirit's essence, and a large amount of snow marrow. Quickly send someone to retrieve it. Dahe the cat sent a message. When you return from the outer planet training, we will compete again. You will probably be gone for a few months. And it is very likely that when I return, I will be participating in the Starry Sky University's examination. When you have time, come back and take care of my family, especially my sister, so that no one will harm her. No problem. Leave your family to me. I am also very familiar with your sister. When you are not here, she often takes your place to feed us. Dahe the cat roared again. That's enough, I have to go cultivate. Just after cutting off contact with Dahe the cat, Jiang Li received another email. It was from the school. Tomorrow, all students with vitality of 1 come to school. Jinghua City will organize the best students to go to the outer planet training. Be prepared. If you don't want to go, you can ask for leave. If you want to go, be prepared to leave Earth for 100 days. Going to an outer planet training for 100 days? Then when I return home, it will be the Starry Sky University's examination. Jiang Li was surprised. 100 days of training is not long, but it is not short either. In Taoism, there is 100 days of foundation building that can cause a person to have earth-shaking changes. Chapter 71. The next day, Jiang Li hurried to the school. This was his first class since the start of the semester. He hadn't been to school for 20 days, mainly to avoid Jianglu. At the same time, he worked hard to accumulate his strength for the final confrontation with Jianglu. He knew that Jianglu wanted to kill him. When he arrived at the school, Jianglu didn't show up. He didn't know what he was doing. Luhan and Serene immediately asked Jiangli, "Did you see the email from the school?" This time, the scale of the trial is huge. All the students in the 36 Hua cities with vitality above 1 are nothing compared to the last military trial. Jiangli nodded. "I've received the email from the school. The trial will last 100 days, and we'll go to another planet. But there are only a dozen people with vitality in our school. I wonder how many other schools have?" Xinghua City is a 4th or 5th tier city. There are relatively few students with vitality of 1. I heard that Beijing has more than 100. The total population of the 36 Hua cities should be more than 1,000. That's really a lot of experts. Snow Spirit licked her lips. Jiang Li, we need to stick together now so that we won't be bullied. I think this trial will be very dangerous. Luhan was also very serious. There are groups of monsters on planet Kubo, and there are even more powerful alien warriors. This planet hasn't been developed by humans yet. It's a wild planet. As they talked, the 3 of them came to the big classroom. There were 15 people gathered in the big classroom. Apart from the original top 10 experts, there were 5 more students who had just been promoted to Vitality 1. Ouyang Xing was one of them. When he saw Jiang Li approaching, his eyes flashed with hatred. However, this kind of gaze disappeared in a flash, and he pretended not to see it. Now, he wasn't as powerful as before. The number 1 master in the school had been taken away by Jiang Li. However, Jiang Li's limelight was overshadowed by Jiang Lu. In contrast, Jiang Lu was the real big shot, looking down on all living things. "Are all the students here?" The principal appeared. The rumbling flying car outside was prepared by the school. "Students, you must have seen the email from the school. Is there anyone who wants to quit?" "No." Their voices were very uniform. This trial allowed one to go to an alien planet. It was a rare opportunity, and there was no need to pay any fees. It was all funded by the government. Although it was dangerous, it was also a chance to gain experience. Anyone who didn't go would be a fool. "Alright, get in the car. We're going to Jinghua City." Naturally, there will be government officials heading to the wormhole jump launch base. The principal said, "Get in the car. There's no need to wait for them. Student Jianglu has already gone to Jinghua City." The 15 students immediately got into the car and soared into the sky, disappearing in an instant. Jiangli looked out of the window. Xinghua City was getting further and further away from him. He had already sent an email to his parents, telling them not to worry. At the same time, he transferred all the money in his bank card to his parents, asking them to make arrangements for their living arrangements and train his sister. Going to the alien planet Crooked Wave, there was no need to use any money. Not even bank account information could be found there. It was completely on the other side of the starry sky, a completely different world. 5 hours later, the huge Jinghua City appeared in front of him. Jiang Li saw tall buildings rising from the ground. Buildings like the Silver Horse Building were everywhere, and there were flying cars everywhere in the sky, flying around like locusts, which was completely different from Xinghua City, where few flying cars could be seen. The traffic in the air was very busy. Even Jiang Li saw a team of policemen in power armor patrolling the sky. When they flew, they made a rumbling sound, which deterred any lawbreakers. At a glance, the whole city couldn't be seen at all. Even in some central areas of the city, mountains were built, and the super-rich lived on the mountains. A mountain was built in the city. What kind of concept is this? The mountains in this city are more than 10 times more expensive than the mountains on the outskirts of Xinghua City. There were too many rich people in Xinghua City. Jiang Li had a feeling of eye-opening. This was the first time he came to Xinghua City, and it was even more prosperous than he had imagined. The buildings of Xinghua City even extended to the ocean. In the ocean, there were artificial islands on which a large group was built. The birds were singing, the flowers were fragrant, and the clouds were shrouded. Jiang Li suddenly thought of many overseas rogue cultivators in Xianxia novels. Great human beings, great technology. In the long run, human civilization will be developed to the extreme, and it is very likely that it will truly develop into the world of immortals. In the feudal era, humans could not imagine airplanes, and in the era of countries, humans could not imagine the current wormhole jump. Here we are. Below is Xinghua High School. All our students with vitality of 1 will gather in this high school, and then, under the leadership of the military, we will go to the wormhole jump base. The principal's car landed, and Jiang Li saw a school 10 times larger than Xinghua High School. It was a mountain. In the center of the city, the mountain was full of houses and buildings. In some places, a huge waterfall was roaring. It was artificially built and looked natural. Even when it rained on the mountain, there would be rainbows. This was all an artificial climate intervention system. Today's technology can completely interfere with the climate. If the whole city wants to rain, it will rain, and if it wants to snow, it will snow. This is the great power of technology. The car landed on the huge playground. Jiang Li got out of the car and saw cars everywhere, and groups of students gathered together. They are all people with strong vitality. Lu Han came up and looked around. Look, those are the students of Yuehua City. There are more than 30 of them. The guy who is surrounded by the stars is the #1 expert. His vitality seems to have reached 1.3. His name is Xiaoqiu. Students from each school gathered together to form a small group. Students from a total of 36 cities have arrived at the square of Xinghua High School. There are really many experts, hidden dragons and crouching tigers. At a glance, Jiang Li saw that there were a lot of strong auras. Look, there are students from Xinghua High School over there, so many. I'm afraid there are more than 300 people. Xue Ling exclaimed softly in shock. Jiang Li immediately saw a large group of students walking over from afar. The overall quality of this group of students was clearly higher than that of the other middle schools. Everyone's spirit, energy, and spirit could be seen clearly, and there was a sense of disdain. They looked down on the students from other schools. In fact, the students from each city's high school used to look down on each other and fight with each other. There are even conflicts between students from different classes. Jiang Lu is actually mingling with those people from Xinghua High School? Jiang Li's eyes moved. He saw that among the 300 students from Xinghua High School, Jiang Lu was actually at the front. He was talking and laughing with someone who is obviously the leader of the students, and the students behind could only follow. That is the #1 student from Xinghua City. His name is Yu Muhua. His vitality has reached 1.5. He is the son of a big shot in Xinghua City, Shiren said. But it seems that he is also trying to build a relationship with Jiang Lu. Of course, Jiang Lu is the son of the Sun and Moon Corporation. Even Yu Muhua needs the essence of the Sun and Moon. Lu Han said seriously, actually, I suspect that the Sun and Moon Corporation has already started to contact the big shots in Xinghua City. They have a lot of connections. Jiang Lu is now in our high school. He should take care of us during the trial, right? At this time, another student said. Jiangli took a look and found that it was a student who had just advanced to 1 vitality. He was still pinning his hopes on others. Boom! Just when many students gathered on the square, a black shadow suddenly descended from the sky. The ground shook. It was a person wearing a mecha. Zhongwu supersonic mecha. Jiangli looked at the mighty and domineering shadow and was instantly shocked. He was shocked to see the mecha up close. If it was used against him, even 100 of them would be killed in 10 seconds. The mecha's helmet opened automatically, and a square-faced soldier appeared. Hello, everyone. I am the commander of the highest army in Jinghua City, Wang Changshan. I won't say anything unnecessary. Now, follow me to the wormhole jump base on the sea. Boom! In an instant, a battleship appeared in the sky. This battleship floated in the air and didn't land. Instead, many small aircrafts appeared on it, each of which could seat dozens of people. All the students began to enter the battleship. About half an hour later, Jiangli arrived on the battleship in the small aircraft. This battleship was 4 kilometers long and 2 kilometers wide. The moment Jiangli entered it, he felt like he was completely isolated from the outside world. It was like he had entered an independent world. He sat together with Luhan and Serene on a huge metal bed. They could lie down or meditate. There was a large screen in front of them that allowed them to see the situation outside the battleship. Blue sea and blue sky. Everything was quiet. Jiangli felt that everything was novel. Are we going to use this battleship to jump through the wormhole later? Jiangli asked. Yes, this battleship is called the Immemorial Battleship. It's made from a combination of high-tech rare alloys and energy compression. That's why it can withstand the power of wormhole jump. Snow Spirit said, the cost of every square meter is 10 million star dollars. The cost of each square meter is 10 million star dollars? Jiangli was shocked. How many square meters is the entire battleship? My God, isn't it priceless? That's for sure. A battleship that can jump through a wormhole is a priceless treasure. Luhan said, this is also my first time doing a wormhole jump. This is the great power of humanity. Jiangli had long felt the greatness of humanity's science and technology. Look, we have already arrived at the wormhole jump base in the deep sea. The huge battleship plunged into the water and began to dive. Jiangli saw the scenery of the deep sea on the screen. Especially at the bottom of the sea, there was a huge building launcher that seemed to be boundless. Countless underwater robots were working there, and the huge amount of energy made him feel a kind of fear in his heart. After entering the wormhole jump base, everyone is to lie down on the bed. During the wormhole jump, the human mind will stop working. The soul will be in a state of suspended animation, and the vitality of people below one will be extremely weak when enduring the power of the wormhole jump. They might even die. On the screen, all kinds of knowledge were introduced. The planet we are heading to is planet Crooked Wave. It is similar to Earth in that it is also filled with oxygen and water. It is suitable for humans to live on, but it is 10 times bigger than Earth. However, inside the planet, there is a strange energy that surrounds the entire planet, causing the planet's gravity to be similar to Earth's. The laws of gravity are not suitable on this planet. The explanation went on for more than an hour. Suddenly, an urgent voice sounded. The battleship was in a state of warping. Jiangli hurriedly lay down on the bed. Suddenly, a cover came down and covered him completely. Instantly, he heard a voice. Wormhole jump, countdown, 10, 9, 3, 2, 1. Jump start. Boom. He immediately felt a huge shock in his heart. His whole body seemed to be distorted, and his vision became blurry. Suddenly, his consciousness disappeared, as if he was being torn into many particles. He had died. Suddenly, the milky white stone on his chest trembled. Chapter 72. The Dream Heart Sutra had the ability to protect the owner's soul. Jiangli was in danger several times. He was hypnotized by the phantom fox and Gu Xiong, but he survived because of the white stone's protection. It was a blessing in disguise, and he managed to cultivate the Soul Emperor seal. This time, the wormhole jump put the soul in a broken state. It sensed that the owner was in danger and immediately activated a strange ability. Woo 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 woo. In the wormhole jump, a part of the invisible energy seemed to be absorbed into the white stone. The entire battleship was shaking. Wormhole jump was the most advanced technology in the human era. Humans had obtained the technology from the spaceships on foreign planet. After 100 years of research, they were finally able to grasp this heaven-defying technology. Therefore, they found many planets with resources, which allowed the entire population to survive and grow stronger. Then, they left Earth and sailed into the vast universe. Of course, every wormhole jump required a huge amount of energy. This energy was not nuclear energy, but a more advanced form of energy. They used the base at the bottom of the sea to form a wormhole and activate the teleportation array. In the vast universe, there were universal coordinate. Wormholes used energy to interfere with space and cause a short jump. Otherwise, a planet that was hundreds of thousands of light years away would take hundreds of thousands of years to fly at the speed of light. Only wormholes could reach the planet in a short time. The wormhole theory had been proposed by humans 300 years ago. Unfortunately, it was just an idea and couldn't be realized. With human technology, it might not be realized even after a few thousand years. However, the wormhole jump was also extremely dangerous. The slightest mistake could distort the enormous energy of the wormhole, causing the people and the battleship to completely disappear in the depths of the vast sea of stars. They might even disappear from the physical world, turning into the tiniest atom without a trace. In the huge base at the bottom of the sea, suddenly the energy was shaken. All the seawater started to surge, creating monstrous waves and tsunamis. Beep, 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 countless alarms rang out in the air. What's going on? Why is the energy overflowing? There seems to be something absorbing a large amount of energy from the wormhole jump. What is it? Danger, danger, extreme danger. Hurry up and send in the backup energy. Otherwise, the wormhole will distort and the entire battleship will turn into dust. Oh my God, what is absorbing the energy from the wormhole jump? This energy is equivalent to 10 years of electricity in Beijing. Unless it's a wormhole jump, there is nothing else that can absorb it. Now is not the time to discuss the problem, but to immediately activate the backup power source. The depths of the wormhole base suddenly trembled, and the seawater gathered into a massive whirlpool. A wave of energy spread out, breaking through space-time. In the depths of the sea, a wormhole slowly opened, and stability was restored. The people in the depths of the battleship were completely unaware. No one knew that they had almost turned into cosmic particles and disappeared from the material world forever. And Jiangli had a dream. This dream was incomparably real. It was as if he was living in the real world. He dreamed that he was born in an ancient continent. That ancient continent had no technology and belonged to the feudal era. It was purely an era of martial arts development. This continent was a planet, and it was extremely huge. Within the planet, there was even a type of energy called heaven and earth spiritual qi. This type of energy did not exist on Earth. When people cultivated, they could use breathing techniques to guide the heaven and earth spiritual qi into their bodies, causing their bodies to become stronger and explode with great power. In this continent, there were countless experts and martial arts masters, as well as godlike figures who could fly in the sky and burrow into the earth. Just like that, Jiangli was born in a small family and learned martial arts from the beginning. From the very beginning of breathing and expiration to the training of various fist techniques, and finally to the great success, he could guide heaven and earth spiritual qi into his body. This experience of growing up step by step was recorded in his mind. In his dream, He could even remember the moves and details of the martial art clearly. In the end, he became a martial arts master respected by tens of thousands of people on the continent. He could destroy a mountain with just a lift of his hand. At this time, the extraterrestrial demons invaded. In order to protect the safety of the continent, he went to fight the extraterrestrial demons. In the process of fighting, he was bombarded into pieces by the huge battleship. This was a dream, but it was too real, too clear. It was like the golden millet dream in ancient times. In a dream, one experienced the prosperity of life, wealth, and smoke. The experience in the dream was extremely real. When one woke up, it was as if he had been reincarnated. Who knew that the real world was not a big dream? The ancient scholars experienced the golden millet dream and were enlightened. Jiang Li also experienced this dream when he jumped through the wormhole. It was as if he was reincarnated. A dream lasts for thousands of autumns. What year is it today? As soon as he finished the dream, these two sentences kept ringing in his ears. Jiang Li kept recalling the dream, as if he was recalling his past life. In the dream, every move and every martial art move was simply imprinted in his mind. It was clear, engraved, and impossible to forget. He did not know why such a thing would happen when he jumped through the wormhole. According to his theoretical knowledge, when he jumped through the wormhole, the space-time distortion energy would cause his mind to be in a state of suspended animation. He should have no memory at all. But now, he was actually dreaming. Dreaming represented the activity of his mind. Why was this happening? He pondered in the dream. He could not see his own body, and could only sense a distorted void. Since he was bored, he kept recalling the details of the dream. His experience of becoming a martial arts master, and most importantly, those moves and moves. At the same time, he combined them with his Great Spirit Emperor seal. His mind was frantically cultivating. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times in the dream, the Great Emperor Lightning Seal was at the peak of perfection. He did not know how many times he had cultivated it. He only knew that he could cultivate it endlessly. In the dream, he did not need to eat or drink. He just needed to think. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, 3 years. He cultivated like this. In the dream, he was so lonely that he was about to go crazy. He cultivated the Great Emperor Lightning Seal to kill time. Counting the time, he felt that he had cultivated non-stop for at least 3 years. This was because he could not wake up from the dream. He could not feel his own body. Such eternal loneliness was indeed terrifying. Luckily, he could use cultivation to relieve the loneliness. If not for the Great Emperor Lightning Seal and his experience in the dream, he would not have been able to hold on. Right, what I experienced in the dream might be the life experience of the sewer mummy. This dream was so realistic. It must be the Great Dream Heart Sutra. Jiang Li had an epiphany. I actually cultivated the Great Emperor Lightning Seal for 3 years in the dream. I wonder how much time has passed in the real world? I am currently in the wormhole jump, but the 3 years of cultivation in the dream, coupled with a lifetime of experience, is enough to make my soul grow. Once the wormhole jump is over, I will return to the real world. Not only will my life force increase, but at least my martial arts and cultivation experience will increase by leaps and bounds. Think about it. A person in the dream obtained a lifetime of experience from another peerless expert. Then, he trained bitterly for 3 years. Although there were no other changes to his body, his thinking would change. It was like the soul of a scientist possessing the body of a primary school student. Although Jiang Li did not understand everything that happened in the dream, he could understand many things after thinking about it carefully. His martial arts experience and thinking progress was too fast. Boom! Just as he was thinking, his soul suddenly trembled and he returned to the real world. He felt pain all over his body, as if he was about to be torn apart. A gentle voice sounded, "The wormhole jump is over. Everyone has arrived at planet Crooked Wave. Please do not move. You must lie down quietly for an hour to familiarize yourself with your body and mind. The cabin will spray you with nutrient fluid. Zzz, a cool mist sprayed out from the cabin. Jiangli took a deep breath and felt the pain lessen. An hour later, the cover on the metal bed opened. Jiangli jumped slightly and stood on the ground. He felt his body was light and his mind was agile. It was as if he had been reborn. He knew that he had gone through an unbelievable change. He thought for a moment and all kinds of martial arts experience and moves came to him. Great Emperor Lightning Seal. He pushed out his palm lightly. Boom, boom, boom. His blood and chi rumbled like thunder in his body like a raging river. He was extremely focused and all the minute movements were under his control. He was 10 times more familiar with the Great Emperor Lightning Seal than before. He was like a martial arts expert who had immersed his whole life. As expected, I have become much more familiar with the Great Emperor Lightning Seal. The cultivation in the dream is not fake. Jiangli thought happily, my life force seems to have increased as well. What happened to the white stone? At this time, Wang Changshan's figure appeared on the computer screen. Students, there was a small problem during the warship jump, but it has been resolved. We have now landed on planet Crooked Wave. You will be released to this planet. This planet has oxygen and water, suitable for humans to live on. You don't need to wear spacesuits. After you go down, our warship will jump back. 100 days later, the warship will jump back here again. In other words, you will live on the other side of the universe for 100 days, isolated and helpless. This will be a great training for your soul. Fight hard, youngsters. As soon as he finished, Jiangli instantly felt his body being enveloped by an energy ring. He was then ejected from the warship and only landed on the ground after a long time. At this time, he saw the warship above him suddenly jump and disappear. All the students participating in the trial were also ejected to the ground. The warship disappeared. All the students were left alone on this unknown planet, on the other side of the universe. From here, looking at the vast sea of stars, they could not even see Earth. This was not their home. All the students felt a sense of homesickness, loneliness, and melancholy. Jiangli finally felt the feelings of the alien warriors. On Earth, they could not even see their home planet. How lonely was it? Dreaming of home. Jiangli muttered. Chapter 73. After the humans' warship left, many of the students began to panic. Jiang Li's thoughts were much sharper, and he immediately felt that when people were isolated and helpless, it was very easy for them to feel fear and panic. This was also a kind of military trial. Many students subconsciously gathered together. In an instant, Jiangli felt a dangerous gaze fiercely attacking him. It was Jianglu. Jianglu's gaze was full of killing intent, cold and violent. It was obviously a sign that he was going to kill him. On planet Crooked Wave there was no law. It was completely the law of the jungle. It would be strange if Jianglu didn't kill him. In any case, in this kind of student trial, it was normal for a few people to die, or even 100 people. The government originally selected the strong, allowing the students to gain great enlightenment in life and death situations. No strong person was cultivated in a greenhouse. Jiangli, what should we do? Luohan and Shiren quickly moved closer to Jiangli. If we want to survive, we must stay away from the crowd. Otherwise, it will be dangerous. Jiangli had long felt Jianglu's killing intent and immediately wanted to leave. Right now, they were in a primeval forest. As far as the eye could see, the trees were tall. Thousands of meters tall trees could be found everywhere. It was much more lush than on Earth. Moreover, there were some small insects and plants that were completely different from those on Earth. The knowledge on Earth simply couldn't measure this alien planet. Jiangli. At this time, Jianglu slowly walked over. His face showed an expression as if everything was under control. You actually came to participate in this trial? That's great. On this planet there is no human law. Who knows what will happen in 100 days? Struggle, painfully struggle to survive. I like to see your eyes filled with despair. Young Master Jiang, what happened? Do you have a grudge against him? At this time, the #1 student of Beijing High School, Yu Muhua, walked over. He was constantly paying attention to Jiang Lu's movement. He doesn't deserve to have a grudge against me. He's just a little bastard. They shouldn't even exist in this world. Jiang Lu smiled disdainfully. Yu Muhua, it shouldn't be a problem if a few people die in this trial, right? No problem at all. Yu Muhua also looked at Jiang Li, the corners of her mouth curling into a cold smile. Where is there a trial where people don't die? Our capital organizes 10 life and death trials every semester, and a few people are eliminated every time. Since that's the case, I'll kill him here and now. With his hands behind his back, Jiang Lu stared at Jiang Li with a cruel smile in his eyes. Rumble! He instantly made his move. A punch came, and the air sputtered in all directions. Ghost God Fist. Hell of ghosts and gods. This move was like a prison. With just a slight movement, it was as if many demons from hell had crawled out. Those with slightly weaker willpower would have hallucinations and wet their pants in fright. This was the wonder of a B-rank martial art. Combining meditation with the fist technique, one would be in a trance and the punch would be like a god. The enemy would indeed develop mental hallucinations. Before the wind from the punch even reached them, their willpower would completely collapse. What kind of person was Jiang Lu? His vitality was tyrannical, and his willpower was also extremely sharp. His sudden attack was like a human-shaped Gundam, causing the ground to tremble and crack. Many rocks were kicked up by his feet, and he quickly attacked Jiang Li. Lightning! Jiang Li let out a long roar. Facing the attack, he didn't dodge at all. The Emperor's Thunder Seal and all kinds of martial arts experience were completely fused together. From Jiang Lu's movements, he could actually see many changes. The blood and qi in his body were like a surging river, emitting an invincible sound of thunder. His hands were constantly changing all kinds of gestures like lightning. When the sound reached the ears of the surrounding people, they felt their blood and qi churning, and they felt like they were going to faint. Rumble! The two's arms collided. Jiang Lu took a few steps back, but Jiang Li took a step back. His body flickered, and like a snake, he attacked again. His speed was unbelievably fast. Moreover, as he advanced and retreated, he took a breath, and his body shook slightly. His physical strength was completely restored, and he became even more violent. This fighting technique, this vitality. Yu Muhua and the experts among the students from the capital changed their expressions when they saw this exchange. This person's vitality seems to have reached 1.4, and his fighting technique is godly. Just now, he advanced and retreated, recovering his qi during the battle, dissolving the force of the collision, and using Jiang Lu's fist power to counterattack. This is not physical strength, but pure fighting experience. As soon as Jiang Lu made his move, all the students present gathered to watch. At this moment, everyone knew that Jiang Lu was a big shot, a young master of the Sun and Moon Corporation. He could be said to be the #1 rich second generation. He was very strong, and there was actually someone who could compete with him? Who was it? Lightning. At this moment, Jiang Li was fearless. He was completely immersed in the fighting experience he had obtained in his dream. Using the Emperor's Thunder Seal as the foundation, he could advance and retreat freely. His attacks were like lightning, and his vitality finally broke through to 1.4 close. On that day, his vitality was already 1.3. Later on, he cultivated crazily. This time, with the help of the wormhole jump, he didn't know how, but the milky white stone absorbed a part of the wormhole jump energy, which actually allowed him to obtain the memories of the sewer mummy. The overflowing energy secretly transformed his body, and finally, his vitality increased by a level. He even felt that the milky white stone had a wonderful change. As for what the change was, he couldn't guess it, and would have to carefully study it in the future. However, this kind of change caused his vitality and spiritual cultivation to improve. Therefore, he was not afraid of Jianglu at all. Jianglu's vitality had already reached 1.5, but it was still stronger than him. But with his rich fighting experience, he could completely compete with him. Because fighting experience was too precious, although Jiangli couldn't completely understand the fighting experience of the sewer mummy, even if he could understand a part of it, it would still be very powerful. This fighting experience was 100 times more precious than his previous experience. Any move that fell into his hands would have a magical feeling. At this moment, he could see that Jianglu's fighting experience was still a bit clumsy. Therefore, when he used the Emperor's Thunder Seal, it could make up for the lack of vitality. Rumble! With another loud sound, the two collided. Jiang Li's body was like a snake. With a slight movement, he completely dissolved Jiang Lu's collision force and then counterattacked. Damn it! Jiang Lu originally thought that he would be able to knock Jiang Li to the ground in 2 or 3 moves, but he didn't expect that after a few moves, the opponent would still be able to deal with him with ease. Moreover, every counterattack was exceptionally fierce, which made him lose some face. Instantly, his eyes shone with evil light. He roared again, and the power of his fists became even more ferocious. You should be honored that you can make me enter the 3rd stage of deep sleep. Show me the last few moves of Ghost God Fist. He spread his fists and inhaled a breath of air into his body. Suddenly, the air flow in his body seemed to expand, making his body look very tall. He took a small step forward, and the distance of dozens of meters was covered in 1 step. Roar! An ear-piercing scream came from his body, and the power of his fists doubled. His movements became even faster, and his fists were sharp like a giant axe splitting a mountain. Every punch and kick brought with it the sound of the wind, and it was incomparably sharp. With a roar, Jiang Li also entered the 3rd stage of deep sleep, dream of God power. He was like a wolf and a tiger, leaping like a tiger and running like a wolf. His body contracted and his joints crackled. In the depths of his body, the mystery of the great Emperor's Thunder Seal and the Soul's Thunder were completely unfolded. A palm cut out. Like a bolt of lightning splitting the dark sky, it directly cut the weak joint of Jiang Lu's palm. Bang! Jiang Lu's fist force rushed out. The two collided again. This time, Jiang Lu retreated 3 steps, and Jiang Li also retreated 3 steps. The two were actually evenly matched. What? He has the same fighting strength as Jiang Lu? What's going on? This kid's strength is so strong? The several students of the capital also felt somewhat incredulous. They all knew Jiang Lu's strength, which could be described as unfathomable. His progress is so fast? Jiang Lu didn't make another move, but his eyes were more vicious and sharp. He was gathering his strength, using a special breathing method to adjust his internal organs, so that his physical strength could reach the limit. However, Jiang Li's heart was calm. His combat experience was getting richer and richer. Facing such a powerful opponent like Jiang Lu, he still didn't have the slightest fear and felt that he could fight. Boom! Just then, the earth shook and there seemed to be wild beasts in the distant primeval forest. Not good, it's a beast tide. It's an iron armor beast. Let's quickly disperse. Some of the students leaped onto the trees and saw an endless horde of wild beasts surging towards them. Wherever they went, everything was trampled and trees were knocked down. Those beasts were iron armor beasts, fierce in character and in groups. Their scales were like iron armor and they were fast, able to jump and glide in the air. Once caught in the beast tide, there was only a dead end. More importantly, these iron armor beasts were intelligent and knew how to hunt and encircle. Humans' intelligence seemed to be useless in front of them. The students were in an uproar. The students of each school gathered into small groups and fled in all directions to avoid being caught in the beast tide. Jiang Li's body suddenly jumped back. Luohan, serene, leave here quickly and avoid the beast tide. At this time, he was too lazy to fight with Jianglu. Damn it! Jianglu was about to chase, but he was grabbed by Yumuhua. Young Master Jiang, let's also hide first, or we will die if we fall into the beast tide. There will be opportunities to deal with this kid in the future. Then let him live a little longer. Jianglu sneered and left with the group of students from the capital. Less than 30 seconds after he left, the rolling torrent of iron armor beasts had reached here, and the ground was full of densely packed iron armor beasts. Each of them jumped fiercely, spread their scales, glided tens of meters in the air, and hit the trees, which were as thick as a person, completely broke. Jiang Li, Luohan, and serene had entered the depths of the dense forest, and behind them, dozens of iron armor beasts were chasing them. As long as they were hit by an iron armor beast, they would become meat patties. When Jiang Li killed an iron armor beast in the military trial, he relied on his heavy armor, which weighed more than 600 kilograms. Now he was unarmed and could not be surrounded. Moreover, the attack power of one iron armor beast was completely different from two. Two iron armor beasts could surround and attack. Dozens of iron armor beasts were simply a small mecha army. Chapter 74. Boom. 3 iron-armored beasts roared, jumped violently, and glided over. It was like a car running at full power, crashing into a person, and a person would be smashed into a meat pie. Great Emperor Thunder Seal. Jiang Li roared, dodged, and arrived behind a tree. An iron-armored beast hit the tree, and with a crack, the trunk broke. This buffer gave him the opportunity to suddenly punch 3 times. Each punch impacted and shook, and the fist wind was like thunder, causing the air to explode, and all 3 iron-armored beasts were shaken away. However, they turned over and got up and attacked again. Stop! Jiang Li suddenly made a sound, and his eyes glowed faintly as he cast hypnosis. Sure enough, the 3 iron-armored beasts stopped, motionless, and then fell to the ground, foaming at the mouth, as if they had become idiots, brain-dead. Behind them, more than a dozen iron-armored beasts galloped over. Jiang Li knew that it was unrealistic to kill these things with his bare hands. With his physical strength, even without heavy weapons, it didn't matter if he killed 3 or 5, but more iron-armored beasts would swarm up, and flesh and blood couldn't compete at all. He suddenly let out a thunderous roar. The sound was short and powerful. Every time his voice spread out, an ironback would fall to the ground. It was not a deep sleep, but his hypnosis had destroyed the brain nerves, causing brain death. Suddenly, he let out a long roar repeatedly, and the iron-armored beasts that rushed up around him actually began to attack their companions, immediately causing great chaos. Jiang Li was temporarily safe. Jiang Li, your hypnosis is so powerful? Luohan and serene jumped down from the tree, and they saw that every time Jiang Li made a sound, an iron-armored beast either fell to the ground or madly attacked its companions, and they couldn't believe their eyes. Have you reached the level of an intermediate hypnotist? I haven't meditated yet. Jiang Li shook his head. It's just that my hypnosis is a little better than ordinary expert. He looked at the ironbacks that had fallen to the ground around him and was secretly gratified. He knew that after jumping through the wormhole, not only had his vitality reached 1.4, but his mental cultivation had also improved a little. He hadn't reached the level of an intermediate hypnotist, but the number of times he could hypnotize others had increased significantly. I wonder how many people I can hypnotize now? Jiang Li secretly speculated. 70 a day? 80? Or even more. The difficulty of hypnotizing these ironbacks is similar to that of humans, and they also have some intelligence. Be careful. Just as serene was tidying up her clothes, Jiang Li suddenly shouted. A poisonous snake rolled out from the grass not far away. It had already lost all signs of life. This snake was a curved wave snake. Its venom could corrode metal, and there were many of them on planet Curved Wave. Not to mention biting people, even if they were to be sprayed with venom, there would be no saving them. Jiangli had also encountered it in the military trial, but on planet Curved Wave, this kind of poisonous snake was even more powerful. It was a primitive and ferocious animal. Fortunately, he was observant and focused. He could radiate out and sense the crawling of mosquitoes within a few hundred meters deep in the grass. Any danger could be detected, and he could use hypnosis to instantly speak and shock the poisonous snake to death. Now his hypnosis finally began to show its terrifying side. A single look, a single voice, a single movement could kill a person. Serene was shocked, knowing that Jiangli had saved her life again. The animals on planet Curved Wave are really ferocious. It's impossible for such a species to be born on Earth. I read the introduction. Planet Curved Wave is 10 times larger than Earth, but the gravity and environment on the planet are similar to Earth. It's really amazing. The laws of physics on Earth don't work here. Jiangli touched the soil on the ground, resting while feeling the wonders of this alien planet. There is a kind of energy inside planet Curved Wave that radiates out and changes the entire state of the planet, Luohan said. This kind of energy is temporarily called the spiritual energy of heaven and earth by the scientists in the elite zone. All animals born on the planet are more or less contaminated with a trace of it, making them much stronger than the species on Earth. Moreover, this spiritual energy of heaven and earth can be absorbed by the human body, changing the nature of life. However, ordinary people can't absorb it. Even experts in meditation have a hard time absorbing it. Only people who have reached the embryonic breathing realm can absorb it. Yes, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth in planet Curved Wave is actually similar to the essence of the sun and moon on Earth. However, its nature is much denser, and it is even more powerful and violent. Serene nodded and said, "It seems that even experts in the embryonic breathing realm have to be careful when absorbing it. There was once an expert in the elite zone who came to planet Curved Wave to practice, but his body suddenly burned and turned into ashes when he was practicing. Only those who have reached the embryonic breathing realm can absorb it? So that's how it is. I completely understand now." Jiangli recalled his unrealized dream. In the memory of the sewer mummy, his planet was also filled with something called the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. However, it also required a strong soul power to be able to absorb it into the human body. Once one became such a person, he would be an exceptional expert and stand out among the masses. On Earth, such a person was also a dragon among men. Those who could reach the meditative realm were all important people, let alone those in the embryonic breathing realm. Moreover, the meditative realm was divided into small meditative, great meditative, and constant meditative. Regardless of whether it was Chu Shan or Gu Xiong, they were both in the small meditative realm. Jiangli had never seen a person in the great meditative realm. "Jiangli, we are temporarily safe." Luohan handed over a tube of liquid. "Recover some of your strength. This is snow marrow. It has the essence of the moon and the sun spirits in it. There's no need. You keep it. I have some too." Jiangli took out a bottle of nutrient solution and drank it. He then sat on the ground and began to rest. His nutrient solution was also mixed with the essence of the sun and the moon. This time, he had brought along some supplies which could barely support him for 100 days. It was impossible for him to consume a large amount of the essence of the sun and the moon every day like he did in Xinghua City. Fortunately, the main purpose of this trial was to cultivate his mind and build his foundation in 100 days. Jiangli thought that it was highly possible for him to reach the meditative realm after training for 100 days on the foreign planet. Once he entered the meditative realm, his hypnosis skills would be upgraded to the next level, like a dragon entering the sea. After resting for a while, the three of them recovered their strength. Seeing the beast tide pass by, they began to search the forest to see if there were any injured companions that could be treated. However, they did not see anyone. Everyone was completely separated. This group of students were the cream of the crop. They should have a way to save their lives. Jiangli, there are many treasures on planet Crooked Wave. For example, this blood-brain nucleus. Luohan turned on the chip. It showed a lot of information about planet Crooked Wave. On a tree there was a fruit that looked like a blood brain. Many primitive humans were worshipping it. Blood-brain nucleus? Jiangli had seen it in the black market security organization. It could greatly strengthen brain cells. However, it cost 5 million each. He could not even afford a single one. Turned out that this thing grew on planet Crooked Wave. Can I connect to the internet? Serene asked. No, the chip only has the original information. Luohan shook her head. Before I came, I prepared many things for this trial. I have stored a lot of information on planet Crooked Wave in the chip. What is the most precious thing on planet Crooked Wave? Jiangli asked. It is a type of ore called spirit stone. It is buried deep underground. It is the crystallization of the heaven and earth spiritual qi over billions of years. This stone can be absorbed by the human body. Its effect is far above the essence of the sun and moon. Luohan looked at the information again. The human elite zone has sent out large battleships to mine here several times. However, because the amount of work is too large, the spirit stone is scarce, and the underground is very dangerous. When mining, there will be a huge explosion. Several times, the battleships were blown up and the entire fleet was wiped out. Thus, the elite zone stopped mining. Now, this thing is circulating in the elite zone. It is very rare. 1 gram is worth 10 million star dollars. People keep the spirit stone in their mouths to train. The energy will gradually overflow, making the physique incomparably strong. The experts in the elite zone all use this thing. Their vitality can reach 2, 5, or even 10. They all rely on this spirit stone to train. The universe is really mysterious. It even has this kind of thing. Jiangli actually knew about this thing. He had obtained it from the memory of the sewer mummy. On that planet, many people who had not reached the embryonic breathing realm relied on the spirit stone to practice. Those who had reached the embryonic breathing realm could use their soul to breathe in the heaven and earth spiritual qi. They did not need the spirit stone. The vast starry sky was full of wonders. There are very few spirit stones on planet Crooked Wave. I heard that the human elite zone discovered a huge planet with rich spirit stones. Hence, a huge war broke out. It is a pity that we are not from the elite zone. We do not know the inside story. Serene shook her head. It seems that only by getting into the Starry Sky University can one step into that circle. Sigh, how good would it be if I could breathe in the embryonic state? Luohan sighed. On this planet Crooked Wave, practicing with the embryonic state and absorbing the heaven and earth spiritual qi is equivalent to practicing with the spirit stone in your mouth. Rumble. Luohan's words were like a wake-up call to him. Jiang Li's soul seemed to have been struck by lightning. He immediately sobered up. Yes, it was the embryonic state. On Earth, if the milky white stone entered the embryonic state, the cells would not be able to absorb any heaven and earth spiritual qi. In the end, it would only lead to the depletion of one's life potential and the reduction of cell division. However, on this planet Crooked Wave, it was filled with the heaven and earth spiritual qi that the human body could not absorb. If one entered the embryonic state, one could pull the spiritual qi into the cells. It was equivalent to practicing with the spirit stone in one's mouth. What realm would one reach? On Earth, the milky white stone was simply a death sentence. However, once on planet Crooked Wave, it was an absolute treasure. Night. The star that shone on planet Crooked Wave had already turned to the other side. The sky was filled with stars. There was no bright Milky Way in the sky. It was no longer in the Milky Way galaxy. The unfamiliar starry sky made one's soul melancholy. Serene and Luohan had already begun practicing. They chopped wood and built a tall house. They sprinkled insect repellent around the house. No animals dared to come near, so they could sleep peacefully. Jiangli used the excuse of looking around and keeping watch for them. He went alone to a tree not far away. He put the milky white stone in his mouth and began practicing. Rumble. Without the slightest hesitation, he entered the embryonic state. Chapter 75. As soon as he entered the embryonic state, Jiangli felt all the cells in his body gasping for air, as if they were absorbing energy from the air. In ancient times, Taoism had a method of fasting. The principle was that humans would starve their cells if they didn't eat. Under starvation, the cells would lack food and seize qi, automatically seizing the spiritual qi of heaven and earth. However, this theory was wrong. Countless people had starved to death while experimenting. Because their spiritual cultivation wasn't strong enough, they didn't know what the sacred fetus breathing was. They didn't even learn how to walk and had to start flying. The only outcome was death. Jiangli was different. Planet Quaking Wave was not Earth. I can feel it. After about half an hour in the embryonic state, the cell's breathing reached its limit. Jiangli felt a cool air flow in the air, slowly being absorbed into his body. This air flow didn't exist on Earth. As the embryonic state rebelled, he felt his soul strengthen a lot. It was exchanging with a special qi in the void. This qi was the best nutrient. It seeped into the skin, bones, muscles, cells, and even every corner of the body. At this moment, Jiangli didn't enter the embryonic state in a daze like before. He really felt the feeling of a fetus with a spirit. The fetus was the sacred fetus. The Taoism's sacred fetus was the condensation of the primordial spirit. After the sacred fetus was formed, the primordial spirit would leave the body and travel beyond the heavens. Actually, this was also because the soul had an extremely sensitive power. It started to come into contact with the special energy in the void. Using the soul to breathe, he absorbed it from all directions into his body. Sleeping immortal, sleeping immortal. The stone base reclined and looked at the year. The three lights sunk and became round. All the cells in his body were wriggling violently. The mind couldn't interfere with matter, but energy wasn't matter. Therefore, when the mind was strong to a certain extent, it could interfere with energy. In the embryonic breathing realm, the cells didn't consume their life potential. Instead, they absorbed the spiritual qi of heaven and earth from the sky of planet Quaking Wave, constantly washing the body and providing it with nutrient. Jiangli used his heart to feel that there was something invisible that strengthened the cells. The effect was much better than the essence of the sun and the moon. His body used to be a small puddle. Now, with the absorption of the spiritual qi of heaven and earth, it gradually expanded into a small pond. Breathing, swallowing, Jiangli could see a small whirlwind forming around his body. This was caused by his cells frantically absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Not only did his life potential not suffer any damage, but it also increased because he could absorb the spiritual qi of heaven and earth. After a full 3 hours, he awoke from the embryonic breathing realm. He felt that his whole body was full of energy, and he didn't feel hungry at all. Instead, he felt full of energy and a sharp mind. The heaven and earth spiritual energy of planet Ripple Wave really is of a higher grade than the essence of the sun and moon. Jiangli carefully examined his body and looked at his hands. The meridians under his skin were very strong. With just a slight pinch, anything hard would be crushed. His body moved. He was already more than 20 meters away when he punched the tree that was as thick as a bowl. The big tree seemed to have been cut by an electric saw. It was flattened, leaving only a big wooden stake. The cut was smooth and clean. He pointed his finger at the tree again. The hard wood was like tofu under his fingers. My stamina has increased again. Jiangli sighed, feng shui treasureland. This planet Ripplewave is really my feng shui treasureland. If I practice here for 100 days, what would Jianglu be after I leave? What would 1.5 vitality be? His current vitality was 1.4. Originally, it would be very difficult to increase it. However, the spiritual chi of heaven and earth was a higher grade energy than the essence of the sun and moon. After absorbing it into his body, it would shape his body and increase his limit. It would far surpass Jianglu. When his body was stronger, his brain cells would be strengthened. It would also help his mental strength. It would definitely improve his hypnosis skills. The realm of meditation needed to be comprehended by himself, but the number of hypnosis skills could be increased. Jiangli was now very excited. What realm would he grow to after 100 days? When that time came, when he returned to Xinghua City, his vitality would exceed 1.5. Would he be able to hypnotize 100 people, or even 200? What kind of sensation would that cause? Jiangli, you go and rest now. I will keep watch, Luohan said from afar. Jiangli jumped and arrived at the camp in a few leaps. No need. I still have energy. You guys continue to rest. You should rest for a while. When the sun rises, we will set off to look for other students. The more students there are in this jungle, the better it will be for us to survive. Moreover, the various medicines we brought with us will be used up soon. We need to find others to replenish them. Luohan said. All right. Jiangli pretended to rest and then studied the mystery of embryonic breathing. During the process of embryonic breathing, his biggest advantage was to absorb the spiritual chi of heaven and earth. Secondly, he could better feel the realm of soul breathing. The feeling of his soul communicating with the spiritual chi of heaven and earth was simply wonderful. This also improved his spiritual realm. Next, the three of them trudged through the jungle. Jiangli, on the other hand, was like a fish in water. He absorbed the spiritual chi of heaven and earth every day to saturate his body cells. Then, he would train and consume it. Every day, Luohan and Serene felt that his body was undergoing incredible changes. Now, Jiangli had almost become a perpetual motion machine, constantly shuttling through the jungle, fighting and opening up a path. Sometimes, when he encountered a group of iron armor beasts, he would roar and kill them all. Every day, Jiangli would appear in front of the two girls with a brand new appearance. After more than 20 days, they finally found traces of the existence of students. Because there was a bonfire on the ground and some waste, which were products of Earth, there was no doubt that they were their classmates. After more than 20 days of cultivation, Jiang Li's temperament had undergone an earth-shaking change. Whether it was in his mind or body, the loneliness, and homesickness he felt when he first arrived on this planet were swept away. Instead, it was replaced by a feeling of, anywhere in the world is not home. He could even abandon everyone and continue to cultivate on planet Crouching Wave for eternity. The taste of absorbing the spiritual chi of heaven and earth was too wonderful. He kept growing and strengthening. Every day, he would have a new understanding of cultivation. Jiangli, we don't have many healing medicines and antidotes left. We have to find our classmates and get some from them. Luohan took out a tube of spray medicine. This was an antidote. She sprayed it on her red and swollen arm, and the swelling immediately began to subside. Just now, she was stared at and bitten by a poisonous insect. In these 20 days, the consumption of nutrients was not much, but the consumption of antidotes was large. Because there were too many poisonous insects here, some poisonous insects could not be hypnotized by sound and could not be killed. Unless Jiangli reached the state of meditation, he could directly use his mind to sweep, so that he could kill the poisonous insects without seeing them. All sentient beings were hypnotized. The scars on my body need to go back and have a small surgery to heal. There was a shocking scar on Serene's calf. It was caused by the venom sprayed by the poisonous insects. A large part of it was corroded on the spot. Fortunately, she sprayed the antidote immediately and then sprayed the cell growth medicine, which saved her. It's okay, let's find a group of students and exchange some healing medicines with them. Jiangli took out a bottle of moon spirit essence. Recently, he did not consume any nutrients at all and directly absorbed the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, so he kept all of it. Let's start looking. The three of them ran in the jungle again. There are people in front, about 53 people. A few hours later, Jiangli suddenly stopped. In the jungle 3 kilometers away? You can even hear this? Lu Han was surprised. Let's go there. That's good. 53 people gathered together. They are definitely not students from our star flower city. They should be students from a high school in a big city. Jiangli kicked away the stone that was blocking the road and took the lead to run into the depths of the jungle. After a while, an open space appeared in front of them. Sure enough, there were more than 50 people scattered in the open space. Some were sleeping, some were meditating, some were exercising, and some went into the tent to take a bath. There is movement. Alert! Alert immediately! More than a dozen male students heard the movement and suddenly jumped up. At this time, Jiangli, Luohan, and Serene came out from the depths of the jungle. Luohan said loudly, "Don't be nervous, we are students from Star City." "Which city are you from?" "So, you are from Star City." Let's go, don't be nervous. We are students from Star City. TSK. You 3 can survive in the jungle for 27 days, your luck is not ordinary. Huh? These 2 girls are so beautiful. Who is that male student? One with 2 beauties living in the jungle, it's really cool. Huh? Look, that male student seems to be the one who fought with Jianglu. Really, Jiang Li's reputation as the young master of Sun and Moon Group has spread to the whole student community. Some students saw Jiang Li's face and suddenly changed their expression. Brother Xiao, someone is coming." At this time, some students shouted for their leader. Every school has a master, such as Ouyang Xing of Xinghua High School. Usually when they go out to gain experience, this kind of student is the leader. The tent moved and a tall young man came out. He was as still as a mountain, and there was no trace of hardship on his face. The tent he lived in was made of a high-tech molecular material. When rolled up, it was only the size of a fist. When spread out, it was more than 30 square meters. It was very spacious and breathable. Even the insects couldn't get in. It was very comfortable. Jiang Li frowned. He felt that there was a female student in the tent. "You are from Star City High School? Did you fall behind?" "I am Feng Chong Xiao from Star City." Feng Chong Xiao's eyes swept over Luohan and Serene. His eyes showed a trace of a smile. "Do you want to join our team? We want to exchange for some healing and detoxification medicine. We can exchange it with moon essence." Jiang Li took out a bottle of moon essence. On planet Crooked Wave, you can't transfer money to buy, you can only barter. Chapter 76. Moon Essence for Antidote? Feng Chong Zhao's mouth twitched. "That's fine, how about 1 bottle of moon essence for 1 bottle of antidote?" "What? Why don't you just rob someone?" Serene's eyes widened in anger. 1 bottle of antidote is only 1,000 star dollars, and 1 bottle of moon essence costs 100,000. Although the price of moon essence had dropped, it was still 70,000 in the black market. If it was bought in Xinghua City through secret channels, it would cost 100,000. After all, there were not many people who dared to buy it in the black market. They might even get killed before they could buy the antidote. "That's our price." Feng Chong Xiao crossed his arms. "If you don't want to buy it, please leave. We're from Xinghua City, we don't welcome you. But I have to remind you that it's dangerous out there. Without antidote, a small bug could kill you." "Feng Chong Xiao, you're too greedy." Luohan's tone was cold. "We're all students, we're on this planet together. Even if we can't help each other, we can't blackmail each other." "Blackmail? Why does that word sound so bad? Feng Chongxiao said calmly, as if he was confident that Jiang Li and the others would win. We don't have enough antidote, we don't have enough on this planet. It's only been 20 days, we still have a long way to go. If we sell it to you, what will happen to our people? But the price can't be that ridiculous, Jiang Li said calmly. How about this, I'll increase the price by 10 times. 1 bottle for 10 bottles of antidote. How about that? Now the price has changed. Feng Chongxiao raised 2 fingers. 2 bottles of moon essence for 1 bottle of antidote. You! Luohan was furious. What? Are you angry? You're wasting my time with your chatter. That's why I'm raising the price. Feng Chongxiao had no intention of giving them the antidote. Of course, I'm a gentleman to girls. The 2 girls can stay and join our team. I'll give you the antidote. As for you, Feng Chongxiao pointed at Jiang Li. You can leave now. Our team doesn't welcome you. You're on your own. Jiang Li, let's go. Luohan and Serene pulled Jiang Li away without saying a word. Don't worry, this matter can still be discussed. At that moment, a girl walked out from behind Feng Chongxiao. She smiled and said, Guys, Feng Chongxiao is my boyfriend. He's very rude. Please don't take it to heart. I have antidotes here. You don't have to buy them. As he spoke, a bottle of antidote was thrown into Luohan's hand. Thank you. Luohan quickly thanked him. Ziyun, don't meddle in this. Feng Chongxiao seemed unhappy, but he didn't refute the woman. The 3 of you have fallen behind. You can stay here. Ziyun ignored Feng Chongxiao. He smiled and said, There's strength in numbers. Maybe we can count on you when we're in danger. Feng Chongxiao snorted and turned away. Luohan and Serene suddenly had a good impression of Ziyun. Ziyun talked to the 2 girls. 30 minutes later, the 3 of them had become best friends. Jiang Li watched all this. He meditated at the edge to learn the secret of the great emperor's thunder seal. In this way, he stayed with this group of Rihua City students for a day. The surroundings of the camp had long been cleaned up, and there were no more poisonous insects. Sure enough, there was strength in numbers. People were social animals, and when they gathered together, they had the power to topple mountains and overturn seas. It was night again. Jiang Li quietly walked to the edge of the jungle. He began to breathe in the heaven and earth spiritual qi. His cells began to strengthen, especially his brain cells. His mind was racing, and all kinds of endocrine secretions were in perfect harmony. Ever since he started absorbing the heaven and earth spiritual qi, his mental power had been growing. Unfortunately, he couldn't break through the state of meditation. He could sense that there were many poisonous insects lurking in the grass in the distance, but he couldn't hypnotize them to death. This was because these poisonous insects couldn't hear sounds, nor could they feel gestures or gazes. They tracked their prey by smell, and hypnosis was useless against such prey. Only when he reached the state of meditation could he send out his mind. With one thought, he could completely kill these poisonous insects. The power of his mind could be radiated, and nothing could stop it. Even mechas couldn't do it. Therefore, although mechas were known to be invincible and could surpass the speed of sound, they could only be captured by a high-level hypnotist or a super-hypnotist. Unfortunately, mechas could be mass-produced, but high-level hypnotists couldn't be mass-produced. How difficult it is to enter a meditative state. Jiang Li breathed in deeply after absorbing enough spiritual qi of heaven and earth for 3 hours. His muscles and bones crackled. He felt that his vitality was so strong that he wouldn't lose to Jiang Lu if he met him again. Not only did he absorb the heaven and earth spiritual qi, but more importantly, it trained his mind, so that he could feel the mystery of this great state in advance, forming the holy fetus and traveling between heaven and earth. This was the embryonic breathing. There's movement? So fast. At this moment, he heard a lot of people running in his direction. He couldn't help but be surprised. It's so late. Why are there so many people? Is it an enemy attack? The direction of the attack seems to be the student camp in Rihua City. I have to inform Luohan and Shiren. That Feng Chongxiao is not a good guy. His girlfriend, Ziyun, is very mysterious. It seems that she's up to no good. Whoosh! Jiang Li quickly arrived at the camp. Jiang Li, what happened? Luohan and Shiren were cultivating in another tent. When they saw Jiang Li coming back, they were puzzled. A large number of people are approaching. As soon as Jiang Li finished speaking, many students also noticed that something was wrong. Some of them got up from their sleep, some walked out, and some took out their weapons. A smile appeared on Feng Chongxiao's face. Don't panic, everyone. It's the leaders of the capital. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, a group of more than 300 students had arrived outside the camp. The leaders were none other than Jiang Lu and Yu Muhua. The two seemed to have improved a little. Their aura and strength were stronger than before. It seemed that 20 days of training was a breakthrough for them. Young Master Lu, the person you're looking for is here. Feng Chongxiao took a step forward and arrived in front of Jiang Lu. He said respectfully, "You told us to look for this guy, so we kept him here. Well done." Jiang Lu nodded. He saw Jiang Li at first glance. He waved his hand and the group of students gathered together. Then, they spread out and surrounded Jiang Li. "What do you want?" Luohan and Shiren knew that the situation was dangerous. "It's none of your business. Young Master Lu wants to deal with Jiang Li." A hand grabbed the two girls. It was Ziyun. "You too, this guy is going against young Master Lu. He won't have a good ending. So, you better stay away from him." Jiang Li. A cold smile appeared on Jiang Lu's face. "You won't be able to escape this time. You shouldn't have come to this trial and given me the chance to kill you." "Jiang Lu, what do you want?" Jiang Li was surrounded, but he didn't panic. "Don't go too far. Go too far." Jiang Lu laughed. "Who do you think you are? Do you think you're worth it? If your father didn't know some of our secrets and the Jiang family didn't need him to be a slave, you wouldn't be worthy of my attention. Young Master Lu, why are you talking so much to him? You don't have to do anything. I'll get someone to break his legs and inject him with neurotoxin to make him lose all his stamina. Destroy his nervous system and turn him into a pile of mush." Yu Muhua walked forward. "Yu Muhua, I don't have any grudges with you. Why are you colluding with Jiang Lu to deal with me?" Jiang Li looked at the number 1 student. Yu Muhua was the son of a big shot in the capital. He had a high status and his words carried weight. It would be troublesome for him to go against Jiang Lu. More importantly, Yu Muhua was powerful, almost on par with Jiang Lu. "Colluding with Jiang Lu to deal with you?" Yu Muhua laughed. "You think too highly of yourself. Young Master Lu is a guest in the capital. As the host, I naturally have to solve some small disputes for him. Young Master Yu, do you want to do it or should I?" Jiang Lu didn't make a move immediately. It was like a cat playing with a mouse. "Actually, this guy is a good training partner." Yu Muhua walked forward. "Let me solve the problem for young Master Lu. We've been exchanging cultivation experiences these days and have learned a lot. Yu Muhua, you are the son of a big shot in the capital. Do you really want to make things difficult for me?" Jiang Li's face turned ugly. After so many days of cultivation and absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, he believed that he could fight against Yu Muhua. However, there were too many of them. Even if he had hypnosis, it would be difficult for him to fight against so many people. Moreover, there were at least 10 experts in the capital with a vitality of 1, 3 or even 1, 4. They had also entered the 3rd stage of deep sleep, which made hypnosis impossible to succeed. More importantly, these students were all the sons of famous Big Shot. If he hurt any one of them, it would be a life-or-death situation. Yu Muhua's family was very powerful. Even the mayor of Star City had to bow down to him. If Jiang Li hurt Yu Muhua, he would definitely suffer when he returned. Although he wasn't afraid, his family would be in danger. Unless it was absolutely necessary, he didn't want to kill this group of people. Patience. I'm not strong enough yet. I have to be patient, Jiang Li warned himself in his heart. When I have control of the situation, none of these people will be able to escape. I will also uproot the forces behind them. Whoosh! His body dashed out like an arrow and directly appeared in front of Luohan and Serene. He grabbed them with each hand and said, "Let's go." He made a big turn from the side and knocked away a few experts, trying to break out of the encirclement. Bang, bang, bang! The few students who were intercepting outside the camp were knocked away by him. With a slight leap, he entered the jungle and disappeared. These few movements were simply dazzling. He was several times faster than an ape who was good at climbing. Chase. Yu Muhua's face turned cold. Chapter 77. What a fast speed! Some students from the capital didn't even have time to react. His vitality has reached at least 1.5. This speed. Jiang Lu clenched his fist, and the ferocious look on his face was frightening. How could he improve so fast? Did he take some peerless elixir to improve his physique? Jiang Lu was also very surprised. When he first arrived on planet Crooked Wave, although Jiang Li had more combat experience than him, his vitality was obviously inferior. Today, under the heavy siege, he was confident that he could kill this person in one fell swoop. But now, seeing Jiang Li's escape speed, he no longer had the confidence. He can't escape. Jiang Lu's eyes were very cold. Power armor. He waved his hand, and the students behind him took out a big backpack, which was half the size of a person. After opening it, pieces of armor appeared. It was not metal, but a super carbon fiber. It was very light, but much stronger than metal. Under everyone's shocked gaze, he assembled the armor and then put in an energy block to activate it. About half an hour later, this super carbon fiber armor began to wriggle. It was like putting on clothes, completely covering his body, making it impervious to fire and water. Amazing! Yu Muhua laughed heartily. This is a super carbon fiber low-level mecha. Its performance is even better than a metal mecha. Wearing this mecha will give you the equivalent of a powerhouse with a vitality of 2. This is a prohibited item. How did you get your hands on it? Brother, don't tell me you don't have it. Jiang Lu also laughed. His voice penetrated through the mecha, inexplicably strange and cruel. You came to planet Crooked Wave to train, so the family will never be at ease. It's normal to give you a mecha. You guessed right. I did bring a low-level mecha. Then, Yu Muhua also took out a suit of armor, activated it, and put it on. This thing is too troublesome to put on. Takes half an hour each time, and it consumes too much energy. That guy has been running for about an hour. I don't know if we can find him. Jiang Lu's body moved and appeared 30 meters away. No one saw how he moved, but a big tree fell with a loud bang. This kind of destructive power and speed could completely kill any student. It wouldn't be a problem for him to slaughter all the students. This was the power equivalent to vitality of 2. Run, let him run to his heart's content. Yu Muhua laughed sinisterly. We can enjoy the pleasure of a cat toying with a mouse. With this mech, do we have to be afraid of not being able to lock onto him? I feel that he definitely has a secret. Otherwise, how could his vitality improve so quickly? Yes, he should have some secrets on him. We have a lot of resources, but we can't improve as fast as him. We must find out his secret and not kill him so easily. Jiang Lu suddenly jumped and appeared on another tree. Young Master Yu, let's go and kill this person. No problem. Yu Muhua said to the students behind her, you guys continue your training. Young Master Lu and I will go after that student. Yes. More than 300 students in Jinghua City High School answered at the same time and followed his lead. In the depths of a dense forest, Jiang Li stopped and pulled Serene and Luohan. He stuffed a big bag into their hands and said, "Take this. This is the antidote and healing potion I got from the students I knocked away. There are also some supplies. Jianglu and Yu Muhua definitely won't let me go. Let's split up now so that you guys can be safe. After 100 days, the warship will come and pick us up. At that time we will be safe." "That's good. Jiangli, be careful." Serene and Luohan knew that the situation was dangerous, and they couldn't help much. Splitting up was the best choice. "This is my moon spirit essence. You guys take it too. This should be enough." Jiangli took out a backpack. "What about yourself? Don't you need some supplies?" Serene quickly said. "Don't worry. I have a way." Jiangli could absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. He didn't need any supplies at all. Moreover, in the process of absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, his pores seemed to emit a terrifying aura. It vaguely contained the vast power of the entire planet. No poisonous insects dared to come close. Even if they were bitten, they would recover quickly. Whoosh! After saying that, Jiangli jumped up a tree and kept jumping into the distance. After a while, he disappeared. As for Luohan and Serene, they flew in another direction. A student with vitality of 1 could match a cheetah in speed. One was even more tyrannical. Luohan and Serene worked together. As long as they had enough supplies, they could protect themselves. As for Jiangli, he jumped in the forest like a gliding bird. Every time he accurately landed on a tree branch, he used the rebound force to jump up. His body became lighter and lighter. Here, he could train his movement technique and improve his martial arts skills. There's a stream ahead. After running for a few hours, Jiangli heard the sound of flowing water in the distance. He quickly ran over and found that it was a clear stream in the forest. Fish were swimming in the water. He used his spirit to sense and found that there was no danger. He washed his face with the river water and jumped down to take a bath. He went ashore and changed his clothes. Instantly, he felt refreshed. Then, he put the white stone in his mouth and began to absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Traces of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth entered his pores and gathered in his cells. It massaged his whole body, relieved his nerves, and strengthened his muscles. Jiangli seemed to have entered a state of spiritual travel. This time, the embryonic breath seems different from before. When Jiangli was absorbing, he suddenly felt that the spiritual energy of heaven and earth coming from one direction was much thicker. Usually, the spiritual energy he absorbed was very thin, like clouds and mist. But this time, the spiritual energy was like a sticky gel. He woke up, spat out the stone, and looked around. There must be something wrong. Why is it so sticky? He began to search. He walked along the stream, and occasionally sat down to sense the embryonic breath. As expected, the sticky spiritual energy of heaven and earth seemed to come from the river. It's here. The point of distribution is here. Jiangli suddenly saw a whirlpool in the middle of the river. Countless stones were piled up. They had been washed by the flowing water all year round and were very smooth. He rushed forward and lifted the stones. Immediately, he saw a stone the size of an egg in the depths of a stone cave, emitting a bright luster. The thick spiritual energy of heaven and earth was emitted from this stone. My God! This is a spiritual stone. A gram of spiritual stone was worth 10 million star dollars. The spiritual stone in his hand was at least 10 grams, which was worth more than 100 million. To absorb spiritual stones, one had to keep it in the mouth and use saliva to slowly soften it. Then, the energy would overflow and permeate into the meridians, strengthening one's physical and mental strength. Moreover, spiritual stones could be absorbed by ordinary people. Unlike the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, one had to be in the embryonic breathing realm to absorb it. That was why spiritual stones were so expensive on Earth. They couldn't be seen in the normal district. Even in the elite district, they were very rare. This was because spiritual stones were hard to find and couldn't be detected with equipment. Only great experts in the embryonic breathing realm could slowly sense and search for them. For example, when Zhongli absorbed the spiritual energy of heaven and earth just now, he felt the existence of spiritual stones. The probability of this was almost 1 in 10,000. This is good stuff. So this is what spiritual stones look like. He played with the spiritual stone but didn't absorb it. This was because he could absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. If he brought this thing to earth, he would immediately become rich. The spiritual stone had to be kept in the mouth and absorbed slowly. If he held it in his hand, it was just a normal stone. It couldn't be seen at all. No energy measuring equipment could detect it. After keeping the spiritual stone properly, Zhongli was very excited. As long as he brought it to earth, he would immediately be a millionaire with a net worth of more than 100 million. Moreover, he didn't lack channels to sell it because he could go through the security group. Practice, practice, continue practicing. I will absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth here for 100 days. I will really grow. Now, my vitality should be at 1.5. When the 100 days are over, how much will I reach? 1.8. Or even 2. Zhongli was calculating his physical strength and the room for growth in the future. Actually, Zhongli couldn't grow so fast just by absorbing spiritual energy. The most important thing was the embryonic breathing. The embryonic breathing was an extremely high realm. The spirit and the energy of heaven and earth interacted and transformed. It was impossible for an ordinary person to comprehend this realm. Every time he comprehended it, he would gain great achievements. Together with the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, the effect of the combination of the two was simply unparalleled. That was why Zhongli improved so fast. There's danger? It seems to be coming from the west. I need to hide in another direction. At this moment, Zhongli's sixth sense suddenly sensed a wave of danger. After a long period of training in the embryonic breathing, his sixth sense was very strong. He could vaguely sense danger. He immediately began to hide and escape. He even vaguely knew that the source of this danger could be Jianglu and Yumuhua's pursuit. Swoosh! His body drilled into the forest and began to close his pores. He retracted his breath and ran here and there. His speed became faster and faster. His whole body seemed to have lost its weight and began to float in the air. Of course, this was an illusion. It was impossible for the human body to float in the air. It violated the principle of gravity. Only if one's vitality was strong enough to reach 2 digits would they be able to break some rules. 2 hours later, a part of the forest was suddenly cut open, and 2 figures descended from it. They were Jianglu and Yumuhua. There are traces of people here. According to the heat source, 2 hours ago, that little bastard Jiangli should have stayed here. Jianglu squatted down and carefully searched. Strange, this person seems to be able to sense danger. Yumuhua frowned. His sixth sense has reached such a tyrannical level. It seems like he can avoid our tracking in advance? He really has a big secret. Jianglu grinned. I have investigated his information in detail. He was originally a small character. He suddenly grew up last semester. He must have obtained something secret. I must dig out his secret. I'm getting more and more interested. I'm also interested. For such a character, it would be too easy to kill him. It would be boring. Yumuhua stood steadily on a big tree. The mecha had a balance system, so she wouldn't fall. She could even fly in the air. The only problem was that it consumed too much energy. Let's go. We'll continue to track. Jianglu calculated the direction and began to track. Chapter 78. The feeling of absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth is really great under a waterfall. Jiangli once again entered the embryonic breathing state. He hid deep under the water. The huge waterfall roared and flowed down, covering everything. Below the waterfall was a deep pool that was tens of meters deep. There were whirlpools everywhere. Jiangli was hugging a huge rock. His whole body was buried in the sand. Even if one could see through the water, one wouldn't be able to see his figure. He didn't need to breathe at all. After entering the embryonic breathing realm, not only could his soul absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth into his body, but he could also vaguely use his cells to absorb the oxygen in the water. Hence, he could hide under the water for 3 days and 3 nights without coming out. He hid quietly like a loach, not moving at all. His soul was immersed in the wonderful feeling of communicating with the spiritual energy of heaven and earth until the end of time. He was very patient and could continue to hide like this. At night, after a full 7 or 8 hours, Jiangli still hadn't appeared. Swoosh, 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 suddenly, 2 devil-like figures appeared on the shore of the waterfall. It was Yu Muhua and Jianglu. The 2 of them searched everywhere, trying to find Jiangli. Unfortunately, it was to no avail. I'm sure this guy is nearby, but I can't sense any heat source at all. He suddenly disappeared 7 or 8 hours ago. Yu Muhua frowned. No matter how fast he is, he can't be faster than our mecha. It's impossible for him to escape. This guy has some tricks up his sleeve. Jianglu was also full of anger. He had been searching for a few days, but he didn't even see Jiangli's shadow. Even the heat source detection technology on the mecha couldn't detect him. In fact, when Jiangli entered the embryonic breathing realm, his whole body was in suspended animation. There was no longer any heat source. More importantly, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth had allowed him to perfectly coincide with the frequency of the crouching wave star. It was difficult to be detected by any high-tech means. I don't believe that he is more powerful than the mecha. Yu Muhua also felt that it was unbelievable. After I find him, I will definitely break all his bones. I will ask slowly. Let's go. Continue searching. Once again, Jianglu activated the mech's search function and walked into the distance. Within a radius of tens of miles, the mech could sense the heat source of the human body. Moreover, as he shuttled through the jungle, nothing could break through the mech's defense. He was in absolute safety. A few hours later, the pool under the waterfall moved, and a figure emerged from the water, stepping onto the shore. Jiang Li's expression was ugly. Mecha, it's actually a mecha. These 2 actually brought a mecha to the trial. As expected, power can overturn the rules. If not for the white stone, he would have died many times over. In the past few days, he had been on the run non-stop and had been surrounded by danger a few times. He had almost been hunted down by the 2 of them. Luckily, he had entered the embryonic breathing realm to hide. That Jianglu and Yu Muhua's mecha couldn't detect him, allowing him to avoid danger time and time again. However, the situation was still very dangerous. The 2 of them were in hot pursuit. Fortunately, I'm getting stronger every day. Mecha. What's so great about mecha? As long as I break through to the realm of meditation, I can let my thoughts radiate out. When the time comes, I don't need to meet them to hypnotize them. I'll strip their mecha naked and see how they survive. Jiang Li's expression was getting colder and colder. Now, only 36 days had passed out of 100 days. His ability was already very strong. After the 100 days were over, he could far surpass Yu Muhua and Jianglu. Roar. At this moment, a roar suddenly came from the sky. Jiangli quickly looked up and discovered that it was a ferocious tiger that was 3 meters long. It had 4 wings and was pouncing down ferociously. It was hunting for food. Beast, come down. At this moment, he immediately roared. This roar was like thunder. In an instant, ripples appeared in the air and spread out in all directions. The sound waves were immediately transmitted to the ears of the winged tiger. This was the 4-winged tiger that was unique to planet Crouching Wave. When Jiang Li's vitality reached 1 in the last exam, his younger brother Jiang Tao, in order to celebrate, specially bought wine made from the bones of the four-winged tiger. The whole family happily drank until they were drunk. The four-winged tiger's whole body trembled. It landed on the ground and obediently crawled down. Its huge body was like a cat, completely subdued by hypnosis. Jiang Li's hypnosis skill was getting more and more powerful. Although there was no progress in the realm, with the absorption of the surrounding spiritual energy, his brain cells were getting stronger and stronger, and the cosmic brain's meditation speed was getting faster and faster. Fly for me. With a turn of his body, he steadily lay on the back of the four-winged tiger. Jiang Li ordered the tiger to fly in the dark, flying in the opposite direction of Jiang Lu and Muhua. Muhua and Jiang Lu's mecha were extremely terrifying, and Jiang Li's physical body was definitely not a match for them. Luckily, Jiang Li was a hypnotist. He could easily hypnotize a powerful creature and use it to temporarily prevent the mecha from tracking him. The four-winged tiger's speed was extremely fast. Flying in the opposite direction, it would soon be 100 kilometers away, far away from the search range of Jiang Lu and Muhua. In this way, while cultivating, Jiang Li played hide-and-seek with Jiang Lu and Muhua. In the depths of this dense forest, he was like a fish in the water. Every day, he became stronger. The great emperor's thunder seal combined with some martial arts experience from the sewer mummy made his mind wander and his whole body feel comfortable. Moreover, he also had a battle of wits and courage with Jiang Lu and Muhua. Under the strong pressure of these two, his progress was even faster. The sun and moon flew by like a shuttle. As the days passed, Jiang Lu and Muhua still couldn't find any trace of Jiang Li. The two were furious, but there was nothing they could do. The energy of the mecha was consumed violently every day. In the black market of Suhua City, the whole city was under crazy construction. The expansion of the Sun and Moon Group had never stopped. Even in many places in the suburbs, there were newly built buildings. Countless people poured into the black market to buy the essence of the sun and moon, as well as various elixirs. It was really a mix of fish and dragons. In the depths of an abandoned building, 6 cats surrounded a dahe cat. Next to it, many medicines were piled up like a mountain, including a large number of moon spirit essence, sun spirit essence, and even various elixirs. In particular, under the body of dahe cat there was actually a basin full of liquid. Half of it was the cool and refreshing moon spirit essence, while the other half was the fiery sun spirit essence. The two did not merge, but were clearly separated. Like a tai chi, half of dahe cat's body was soaked in the liquid of the sun and moon essence to take a bath. How extravagant was this behavior! But for it was just a piece of cake. At this moment it was cultivating. It closed its eyes and pondered, trying to comprehend the mystery of the brain of the universe that it had learned long ago. At this moment its thoughts settled down, and its fur could vaguely be seen squirming. The essence of the sun and moon in the basin penetrated into its body, transforming its physique. Yesterday's various antecedents have become today's retribution. A subtle sound came out of dahe cat's mouth, but it gave people an incomparably sacred feeling. Its spiritual realm was extremely high. No one knew what it comprehended, but its body issued a thunderous sound. This sound reverberated in the building, lingering for a long time. I came from the void, born in the mortal world, untainted by karma. All kinds of karma of the past, today, I cut off. God has settled the 3 realms, empty and real. Dahe continued to narrate its own understanding, as if God was narrating the gospel, or as if Buddha was dispelling doubts and preaching. Dream of 1,000 autumns, what year is it today? Suddenly, it let out a long sigh. Its eyes suddenly opened, and an invisible thought wave spread out. Suddenly, in the depths of the entire abandoned building, there was a rustling sound. Many rats crawled out of the dark and gloomy caves, shivering, crawling step by step, and kowtowing around Dahe. Go! Dahe sent out another thought wave. These rats flew into the caves and disappeared. Use thought hypnosis. I have reached the realm of meditation. Dahe jumped up and landed on the ground. Its whole body was filled with a sense of zen. It did not move at all, but the other cats felt that it was the center of the universe, and all matter was revolving around it. This was the magic of the meditation realm. With a strong spirit, it would naturally have an invisible aura of a spiritual force field. Boss, congratulations on entering the state of meditation. From now on, the power of us cats in the black market will be even stronger, and we will not be afraid of mechas anymore. The Flower Mask King shouted, and boss, your hypnosis is much stronger than the average intermediate hypnotists. Yes, we are going to build a new era, the era of cats, fighting against humans. Dahe jumped up. I wonder how Jiangli is doing? He went to a foreign planet for training. I'm afraid he will be in danger. Jiangli will definitely come back. The Flower Mask King shouted, we are going to go hunting and hunt more humans. We are going to prepare more resources for Jiangli. Oh right, I have sent a message to the security company, asking them to take a lot of medicine and send it to Jiangxian. Jiangxian's cultivation is also very fast. Yes. Dahe the cat walked calmly. The security company is not bad, they did not cheat those medicine, seems like they are very trustworthy. If they cheat, I will kill them too. The Sun and Moon Group and Jiangli are enemies, we have to kill them too. From now on, we will focus on dealing with the people from the Sun and Moon Group in the black market. The Flower Mask King shouted again, its voice like a ferocious tiger. Kill, kill! Whoever dares to offend us, we'll kill them all. Whoever dares to harm Jiangli, we'll kill them all. Kill them, roar, roar, roar. Demeng, Tumeng. The 5 kittens also began to roar. They could now speak the human language. The daily intake of sun and moon essence had changed their vocal cords. They were no longer little kittens, but strong, big leopards. The night is coming. Dahe looked at the sky outside. The night is the world of us cats, everyone, let's go hunting. They were now going out to hypnotize humans, it was called hunting. Jiangli went to a foreign planet for training. It has been more than 60 days. Our business is much worse. Our business in the black market has been completely squeezed out by the Sun and Moon Group. Xinghua City, Gaoren was reporting to Chu Cece. The situation was getting worse for the security company. Don't worry. Chu Cece waved her hand. I believe in another 40 days, Jiangli will come back with good news. Chapter 79. By the way, these days, every other week, a mysterious message was sent from the ruined city, telling us to go to a secret place to pick up the goods, and then send them to Jiangxian, you see. Every time Gaoren mentioned this matter, he would click his tongue in wonder. Just now, our people have already picked up 10 bottles of Moon Spirit Essence and Sun Spirit Essence, and sent all of them to the White Dragon River Villa. It seems that Jiangli has cultivated other forces, but unfortunately, we can't find out. Chu Cece was also puzzled. She specifically sent people to investigate this matter, but the people she sent were hypnotized and didn't know anything. Over time, she knew that there was a mysterious force in the black market of Suhua City, very powerful, lurking in the dark, and Jiangli's friend. Go and bring Jiangxian to the headquarters of the security building. I will personally teach her various martial arts and hypnosis skills, and see if she has the potential to become a hypnotist. Chu Cece ordered. Yes. Gaoren retreated. Chu Cece was lost in thought. Jiangli, who are you? You are getting more and more mysterious. What is the force behind you? Chu Bo Star. Jiangli jumped down from a 4-winged tiger and arrived at the peak of a large mountain. Looking from afar, there were steep cliffs everywhere. The majestic mountains and rivers were more shocking than any landform on Earth. These days, he hypnotized the 4-winged tiger, flew in the opposite direction, and finally got rid of the pursuit of Jianglu and Muhua. After more than a month, he kept traveling, practicing, and without any distractions, shuttled through the primeval forest, and comprehended all kinds of alien landforms. His mind was gradually released, in the desolate primeval forest, completely abandoning the noise of the world, and his mind was greatly relaxed. Coupled with the once-a-day embryonic breathing, he didn't need to eat food at all, and could fully satisfy his body's nutrition, even washing his body, making it stronger. At this time, every day, he was in a state of Taoist immortal. In the mountain of fasting, he rode the wind and clouds, not eating the food of the world. Wandering freely, free, unrestrained, and his mind was completely released with nature. This kind of life made Jiang Li's spirit more and more pure, almost forgetting the earth, forgetting his classmates, forgetting everything in the world, and he once again had the idea of leaving the world. He didn't want to go back. This kind of cultivation caused his spiritual cultivation to advance by leaps and bounds once again. When he meditated on the brain of the universe, all his memories, from childhood to adulthood, were vivid in his mind. He could remember every detail. Moreover, he could forget something if he wanted to forget it, and remember it if he wanted to remember it. However, he was still unable to break through the meditative state. I wonder how strong my life force is now? 1-6. Or 1-7? How many people could it hypnotize? It's definitely possible to hypnotize 100 people a day, or even more. Standing up from the cliff, Jiang Li gave a kick. Immediately, a boulder weighing a few hundred kilograms was kicked out, making a rumbling sound. It flew more than 20 meters and hit the cliff with a loud rumbling sound. He let out a long roar, and the sound of rolling thunder spread out. In the distant forest, a four-winged tiger soared into the sky. Just as it was about to fly to the edge of the cliff, Jiang Li took a step and actually jumped 20 meters off the cliff. He sat steadily on the back of the four-winged tiger. This required extraordinary courage, disregarding life and death. Otherwise, if he were to fall into the air, he would be crushed into pieces by the precipice below. Clouds and mist revolved around Jiang Li. He felt as though he was a celestial being. His eyes stared at the mountains and rivers below. They were actually like the eyes of an eagle, vivid in his mind. He could even see those rabbit-like creatures shuttling about in the forest. There were also large groups of armored beasts, curved wave snakes, and many other mutated beasts roaming about. My eyesight is so good? It's the same as the binoculars? This should be the result of the spirit radiation. When one's spirit force was strong, they could sense minute changes when they radiated out. When the feedback was sent to the brain, it was equivalent to seeing everything clearly. This was the so-called, using one's heart to see the world. Jiang Li rode on the four-winged tiger and flew freely, attempting to find more spirit stones. Unfortunately, tens of days had passed, and he didn't find any traces of spirit stones. From this, one could see how rare spirit stones were on planet Crooked Wave. That time when he found 10 grams of spirit stones, he was simply lucky. Heaven and earth are endless, all distracting thoughts are clear. He wanted to sing a song. And what's that ahead? After flying for an unknown distance, he saw that in the depths of the dense forest, many wooden houses appeared. They were extremely huge but also very crude. These were primitive tribes. Many tribes were connected together, forming a huge residential area. There were primitive people on planet Crooked Wave. This was something Jiang Li knew long ago because the humans of Earth had yet to conquer the entire planet Crooked Wave. He also didn't know why. Maybe it was because wormhole jumps required a huge amount of energy, or maybe there were some dangerous things on planet Crooked Wave. Jiang Li carefully observed from the sky and discovered that this primitive tribe was extremely huge. The humans coming and going were all very tall, easily over 2 meters tall. They wore beast skins and carried wooden clubs in their hands. They didn't even have any metal weapons. However, the people of these tribes were extremely powerful. Their stamina was tyrannical. Jiang Li observed for a full day and night and discovered that when an adult male went out to hunt, it wouldn't be a problem for him to kill a few armored beasts with his bare hands. With a single punch, he could knock an armored beast unconscious. This kind of vitality was at least 3 to 1. 4. As expected, it's similar to what's recorded in the textbooks. There are primitive people on planet Crooked Wave. On average, they are 2 meters tall and have extremely strong stamina. Among them, there are tribal magi with terrifying spiritual power that can control wild beasts. The primitive tribes fight and kill each other. They sacrifice the warriors of the other side under the holy tree and use their blood and brains to irrigate the fruit. That way, they can obtain the blood-brain core fruit, which is the holy item of the tribe and can be used to create magi. Jiang Li opened the AI chip and flipped through the information on planet Crooked Wave. There were records of primitive tribes. Planet Crooked Wave was isolated from the rest of the world, and it was impossible to go online. However, when everyone came, they downloaded a large amount of information on planet Crooked Wave to make it easier for them to survive. Originally, it was impossible for a primitive tribe to live in the place where the warship sent the students to train. However, Jiang Li had hypnotized the four-winged tiger and flown for 2 months straight to places that he didn't recognize. It was very normal for him to encounter a primitive tribe. This primitive tribe was huge, and there were many experts. Jiang Li suddenly froze. This was because he discovered a tree. This tree was filled with densely packed fruits, and they were all blood-colored fruits that looked like brains. Blood-brain core. Jiang Li's body trembled. He had seen this thing in the black market security organization. One was worth $5 million, and not many could afford it. This thing could greatly enhance the secretion of the brain, and it could also strengthen brain cells. It was a great help to one's spiritual power. This was also something that many hypnotists dreamed of. A hypnotist could hypnotize 2 to 3 clients into a deep sleep in a day. If one consumed a blood-brain core, then the number of hypnotized would double, and the success rate and efficiency would also increase. Woo 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 woo. Just as Jiang Li was feeling excited, he heard the sound of a bugle horn. Groups of primitive people escorted another group of slaves. There were at least a few hundred of them. They walked to the blood-colored tree and used clubs to beat the slaves to death. They used stone axes to split open the heads and buried the brains and blood under the tree. Then, they started to worship and pray. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Suddenly, a huge bird descended from the sky. It was more than 10 meters long, and on the back of the bird sat a sorcerer. Sorcerers were the leaders of primitive tribes. They had spiritual power, and they could hypnotize their enemies and control wild beasts. Such a person was fully deserving of being a leader. However, the hypnosis techniques of primitive tribes were too inferior. They could not be compared to those on Earth, and there was no systematic research. Therefore, they had very few sorcerers, and there was no such thing as a low-level hypnotist. Those who could become sorcerers were all experts who were in a meditative state. Those who were not in a meditative state could not become hypnotists because they did not have systematic hypnosis technique. Primitive people had pure souls, and every sorcerer's spiritual power was very strong. In addition, they had consumed the blood-brain core, so Jiang Li could not let his guard down. Every expert who was in a meditative state was a terrifying and invincible figure. So many blood-brain cores. This tree has at least a few hundred blood-brain core fruits. Jiang Li was drooling over the blood-brain core fruit. It was a pity that the blood-holy tree was heavily guarded. They were all extremely powerful primitive warriors, and their vitality was no less than Jiang Lu and Muhua's. There were also a few that were above 1.5. If they swarmed him, he would be torn to pieces. I must get this blood-brain core. How do I get it? Jiang Li was thinking of a way. After observing for 3 days and 3 nights, he finally saw that every night, the primitive tribe was in a state of slumber. This blood holy tree was located in a valley far away from the tribe, and no primitive tribe could approach it. There were about 100 warriors guarding the valley. Beside the blood holy tree, the sorcerer had a big house. Sometimes he would go out and sometimes he would guard the blood holy tree. No one could approach it. With a sorcerer in a meditative state guarding it, even Jianglu and Muhua's mecha would not be able to get close, unless it is a mid-tier mecha that can surpass the speed of sound and attack suddenly, tearing the sorcerer apart in one move. Jiangli hid and trained at the same time. Finally, the sorcerer had something to do and left on a giant bird. At night, only 100 warriors were left to guard the place. All right, now that the sorcerer has left, I will have the chance to hypnotize these warriors. Jiang Li seized the opportunity. His body flickered, and in a short while, he approached the valley. Suddenly, he let out a sound that sounded like a bug. Creak, creak, creak. First, he transmitted the sound into the ears of a warrior, and the warrior fell asleep in a daze. This situation was like a plague, and the warriors were hypnotized one after another. Some of the warriors tried their best to struggle, but it was to no avail. They collapsed one after another. In front of Jiang Li's godly hypnotic voice, they could not display their combat strength. In less than 10 minutes, all the warriors fell to the ground and slept soundly. Only then did Jiang Li walk out of the darkness. Carrying a big backpack, he directly rushed to the blood holy tree and kept plucking the fruits. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.